All right. All right. Well, we're 25, almost 20 minutes away. FGC Roundtable coming up soon. Just so everyone knows what's up, we are going to be watching the Roundtable footage on Bandai Namco's channel Bandai Namco US, because I believe there's going to be some English translation with what's going to be discussed. Of course, you guys know me, RCB_FGC. And I am joined by my homie, my number one go-to anytime there's a stream like this that is taking place, whether it be a reaction, be news footage, anything along those lines. It's my dude and the host of the JSB Gamescast podcast and fellow Kyoto Esports team member, by the way, Zenosuke. What's up, my man?
What's up, guys? I'm back, taking over the stream. How's it going?
Absolutely. Hey, I wouldn't have it any other way. Would not have it any other way. So, yeah, here it is. FGC Roundtable. Of course, we're starting up the stream a little bit early. The actual presentation itself is going to be starting at 8 o'clock. And, you know, I kind of wanted to start a little early, especially talk with you about it. Because I know, like, we really hadn't had a chance to really discuss this too much. But it's kind of a unique thing that these developers are doing. You know, big-time developers, you know, in Japan that has graced us with a lot of great fighting games. You know, as far as the products themselves and everything. And it's kind of interesting and unique how this, you know, roundtables kind of come about in a sense with everything that's going on. So it's obviously something that I think a lot of people, especially who are part of the fighting game community or, you know, fighting game enthusiasts, there's going to be some intrigue with what gets discussed with this tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. It's the first time we've seen something like this happen, at least publicly, right? Normally, what you'll get is maybe like at like an Evo or like at a you know, like an E3 or something like that. There might be like a presentation that features a couple of these guests, and they just have like an overall panel about FGC stuff. But it's the first time we've seen like this many producers from this many companies gather around at a table to just discuss like the future of this genre. It's going to be a fascinating look. I think, or at least I'm hoping it's a little more back end stuff, just like where their headspace is at during these times. I know a lot of people are clamoring about netcode and all that jazz. I'm sure they'll talk about it.
Sure.
But I'm really interested in like the development process, like what's going on now versus like, you know, last year before COVID happened and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and you know, you obviously brought up probably one of the big topics that everyone and their mother has been on, especially, you know, and it makes more sense because of like everything that's kind of going on right now, and with it being the online discussion. Because let's be honest, everyone's at home now, and there's a lot more online gaming taking place. With things that are going on. P-Dog with the host, my man. Thank you, dude. Hope all is well with you. So obviously that's, as far as the consumer goes, that's like the big thing everyone's wanting to hear about, to see if there's going to be any improvements or anything like that with online play. I'm gonna be 100% honest though. I don't really know how high of a priority that is right now, considering everything else that's going on. Like, obviously I would like for these developers to say something about it, but is that really going to be one of the high priority things that they're going to discuss in this? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that.
As far as it being a high priority, I don't know where you would put it on the spectrum for their priority list, but right. I do think it's a good topic for them to address, and I think it's something that they will address, because you got to realize that ties into the esports section, right? Sure. Because we see in 2020 all of these companies that are listed here had to cancel their tours for the most part, or shift to like an online format, which we've seen how that's kind of been blowing up in some circles, right?
Yeah.
With like poor connections, poor netcode. Anywhere outside of specific Asia regions, it's kind of a blow up when it comes to online circuits. So that's definitely something that's on the table for them that they have to kind of address, because this problem that we have, this COVID thing, isn't going away anytime soon, right?
No.
It may even go into 2021. So
yeah,
even if it's not a case of, hey, we're implementing, rollback netcode into our current games, it could be like a reinforcement or a commitment to implement them in future games, right? It's something that they really have to kind of think about as a group, because it's something that Japan as a whole has sort of resisted since netcode works for them, obviously, because it's a smaller area.
right.
But since all these companies are trying to go global with their stuff now, it's like they have to look at the bigger picture. So I think it'll be a topic to discuss.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I guess I'm taking a more pessimistic route on it, I guess, because of that aspect that you just mentioned earlier. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'd have to be aware that, like, just because it may work in their area, it doesn't work for everywhere else. Like I said, I think I'm taking a more pessimistic approach on that, where I'm not expecting a lot to be discussed with it. But if they mention something and they're like, hey, we're looking at new options, like, I honestly think that, like, if they do mention anything, that's going to be like the extent of where they go. It's just like they've heard all the, they've heard all the feedback, they've heard the criticism, and they're looking into other options. Like, that's literally the only thing I think it is what they would say about it.
I think it would go a little bit deeper into that. I don't think it'll be like a quick statement from each of them, but I do think at the end of the day, I think that's going to be the general sentiment, where it's like, hey, we hear it, we see it, we understand it now. Because for a long time, Japan, like, we would tell them, but they didn't really. I don't want to say they didn't care, but like, they really weren't listening, right? And they weren't really aware until like recent times, where they can like actually see it now that it's affecting their online tours and stuff. They're forced to acknowledge it head on now, I should say.
Well, so, and I guess the prime example of that is, the battle director for, French Bread for Undernight, Kamone. Yes. He's all of a sudden, for the past 6-7 months now, has been a proponent in wanting to learn more about rollback netcode. Like, he has been very outspoken about that. That's like the prime example of what you just mentioned with all that.
Yeah, and he's a good example, because he actually, Kamone streams. First off, he does have a Twitch channel, and he plays fighting games. So he'll be on his channel, he'll play, Undernight with people, he'll play Skullgirls or something like that. So he's trying all of these games with like different netcodes and stuff like that. And I think there was one day where he was trying Skullgirls or Fighting Herds or something like that, and he was like, "Whoa, this rollback thing is pretty cool." So like, he has first-hand experience in trying that stuff, and he's sort of seen the light, as it were,
Right.
So I don't think a lot of these other companies have really put that much time into actually looking into it, outside of ArcSys now with Guilty Gear Strive, but. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so I guess. So who do we have? We have Bandai Namco here. We have Arc System Works that's going to be here, and they've kind of already announced that we're going to be also expecting to hear some news about Tekken, some news about Soul Calibur, and some news about Guilty Gear. Another, I guess, big company, so to speak, that's there is SNK, I believe, too, right? So.
SNK will be there.
Obviously, everyone is wanting to know what's going on with KOF 15. Like, there was just a little teaser about the new logo, a year ago? And nothing has been said about that game since.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been just that and nothing else. So, I guess that's kind of the second question. Are we finally going to hear anything about KOF 15 tonight?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think this might be while it could be an appropriate forum for them to do an announcement like that, I feel like they would do it with a bigger flair. So I was thinking more like TGS is coming up in a couple months, Tokyo Game Show, and they announced they're going to do like an online thing like the rest of the general gaming conventions out there. I kind of feel like they're going to save it for that, but we could probably get some information on it. Like, maybe they'll address like their plans on, what they're planning to do with the game, but I don't think we see it. And if we do see it, maybe it's like a CG trailer. Like, I don't think we would actually see what that game is today.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in agreement with you. Like, if we do get anything, it's going to be super small. We're not, like, going to see a lot of it. Because it also seems like SNK is still very much in Sam Show mode. You know what I mean? They just released a trailer a couple days ago about a new character that just came out, which this is like the new character they just announced. It was a second crossover character. I guess it's also from a mobile game as well, right?
Yeah, they teamed up with Tencent. I forget what game they pulled it from, but that character looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
She fights with an umbrella, and I like my umbrella characters. So.
Absolutely. So, and that's kind of where I'm like, I think they're still very much in their cycle with Samurai Showdown. With that, again, it would be nice to get some KOF news, but I'm kind of right there with you. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case or not. Speaking of cats, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you in the chat
cat?
there. So obviously, Arc Systems, Guilty Gear, we're expecting to see their latest character reveal. I think, honestly, basing off their last reveal with Ramlethal, the floor's open. They could literally bring anybody into this next reveal. So, like, the Ram reveal, just like, I don't want to say surprised, but like, it caught me off guard because I didn't expect that to be so early in their reveal process, to where it's just like they literally could bring anybody back now at this point. So I'm very curious to see who they bring back, and I've already seen some people saying Elfelt being the next one, which that would be kind of funny if they do bring back. But I mean,
I think.
Do you have an idea or a prediction?
I think ultimately Elfeld is a shoo-in, just because story relevance. Like, you can't have Ramlethal and not have Elfeld in this arc of the Guilty Gear lore.
Right.
Whether or not she comes now or through DLC later, that's a question. I don't think it'll be Elfeld announced today. Honestly, I don't know where they're gonna go with it. I'm gonna keep my hopes up for either Baiken or Anji.
Okay.
I would love to see Anji back in some shape or form, but also I would love to see Baiken. So I think one of those two.
Yeah, and going off the those poll results, right? That was done a while back. You know, I think Baiken was pretty high up there in the lists as being one of the most popular ones. So that would kind of make sense. I just saw Kat saying he's wanting Jam. Obviously,
of course.
You know, Jam fan, which, hey, look, I appreciate Jam, so I would be okay with that.
I don't appreciate Jam Jump Slash. That is my enemy.
Absolutely. So, so I thought it was all people from GG1 before Ram. Not necessarily true, because Baiken was part of the Guilty Gear 1 cast as well, although she was a secret character, but she was still very much part of that cast. So they did do like all the originals, but not Baiken at that point. So Ram was kind of like the new one as far as the XR crowd is concerned. And talking with Mr. Sups about that in the chat. Robo Ram, Cat says.
I would love a Robo Ram. That would be so great. If I could, like, she's already kind of monotone in the way that she talks, but like, let me get a Robo version of that. Oh my god. Heck yeah.
So, all right. So, like I said, I'm kind of open on it, but I guess I'll go ahead and make a prediction as well. I'm going to say... I'm gonna come with Cats. I'm gonna say Jam.
Jam.
Let's see some Jam. I would be okay with that. I definitely would like to see Jam, because I think honestly in this build, in this game, Jam is going to be probably a very strong character with the way this current Strive system is.
Depends on what they do with her.
This is true. This is true. I'm basing it off her previous play styles and everything. But, you know, I just think she would be a very interesting character in this build. Although, with the way they're kind of simplifying and streamlining things more and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if they took away her card system.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect cards to be a thing. It might be replaced with something else,
Right.
But I think Cards is going to be like completely reworked.
Yeah, because I mean, Chip doesn't have his teleports. Soul doesn't have like his Dragon Install or anything like that, which were staples. So I'm curious. I would think that would probably be the case with that too, which would be kind of sad because that was kind of the thing that made her unique. But with the way they're streamlining everything, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think she'd still have like some sort of power up system, but like what Mr. Up says, like it might be all funneled into one card instead of 3. Like they're gonna reduce the number of cards, or maybe
That's
like
true,
it's
too.
not on like a level up system because she would charge up like twice for an even stronger version. I think she'll still have it in some fashion. It's just not gonna work the same way.
Right. So, do we anticipate anything else coming from Arc Systems? I know you and I were kind of talking before we started the stream. I don't anticipate any Grand Blue news. I don't expect any Grand Blue Fantasy Versus news because Cygames is having their Grand Blue Fest. You said next week, right?
Yeah, I think it's next week.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's next week.
So we're probably going to hear anything Grand Blue Versus related during that event. So yep. I don't anticipate anything with them. Plus, I would think if they were going to be part of this, if there was going to be Grand Blue news, there was going to be some sort of Cygames presence with this. I don't think they would give Arc the go-ahead, so to speak, to reveal anything. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So I don't anticipate any Grand Blue news. I don't think there's going to be any BB Tag news either, which is kind of wild because that game is still being played quite a bit online. Like when I go online here and there, they have full lobbies, but I don't anticipate any BB Tag news either with this. I think this is going to be strictly Guilty Gear.
I think there's a small chance for some BB Tag news. At least like an acknowledgement of it, or maybe there's more support coming. I don't think we'll get much, not like a full announcement or anything.
Sure.
But there might be a nod to it. I think again that kind of goes into maybe their acknowledgement of like the netcode situation and things like that.
Sure.
They might just talk about in a broad sense some of the other games that they have, but I'm not expecting anything big for it.
Yeah. That's kind of where it's like with that. All right, so we do know Capcom is going to be there as well. And Capcom already went on record saying that they're going to be doing their kind of own reveal of everything Season 5 related coming up on August 5th. And we got just a few minutes before the roundtable starts up. So I guess we'll kind of make this like, fast round here. Do we get a little glimpse, a little tease from Capcom about SF5 though? Or do you think they're just going to keep that under wraps until their showcase?
I think they'll talk about something. I think they'll address their world tour. I think they'll probably hint at what they're going to do. But I don't think we're gonna like get any footage, right? They might confirm maybe like how many characters are coming or something like that, or
sure.
Maybe some general changes that are coming to Street Fighter V. But we're not gonna see anything until what was it, next week or something like that.
All August right, and then finally, Soul Calibur, Tekken. Already been announced that there's going to be some news with those two games as well. Obviously, with it being Bandai Namco, this is their thing, so of course they're probably going to have some stuff with it. What do we expect with those, or what do you predict with those two?
So I think we just get new seasons for those. So I really think when it comes to Tekken 7, well, they just got a new season for their game, right? Not too long ago.
I think they just finished up. Fakaram was like the last that finished up their season.
Yeah, so we'll probably just get an acknowledgement of more support coming for that game. As far as Soul Calibur goes, I think we'll probably see a new character for it. I think we'll see a new DLC line for that game. Yeah, I think we'll see new characters for both games probably.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna predict it. Because there's been a lot of speculation. I think we finally see Kiryu in Tekken.
I think we finally see Kiryu in Soul Calibur, and we see Majima in Tekken.
Is that what it would be?
That's what I hope it is.
do we get the Samurai Kiryu from the Yakuza Samurai game? We get Samurai
not.
Kiryu.
We get bare-fisted Kiryu. My man's ain't scared of no weapons.
No, he definitely is not. So, Cat says, better be worth it, Bamco. This is what he's saying in the chat. So, yeah, we're just a couple minutes away.
I also want to note, also, Fighting EX Layers producer is going to be there, as well as Dead or Alive 6. So Team Ninja is also going to have a presence there as well.
Okay.
So, also keep that in mind. So, it really is a huge roundtable of all the fighting game developers out of Japan. Not just the main players, but yeah, keep that in mind as well. Because DOA, they've already confirmed that they're working on a new one. So,
now is that for the future consoles?
We don't know.
DOA 7?
We don't know. I would assume so, because it was only like a verbal acknowledgement. It's not like an official announcement.
Okay.
So I would assume it's probably not going to be ready until like sometime next year, which would mean future consoles.
Sure.
So,
or in my case now, just announce it on PC.
Just announce it on PC. I mean, I'm gonna buy the new consoles anyway because that's the kind of person I am. But
sure.
Yeah.
So
if Fighting EX Layer has been experimenting with Robot Netcode as well.
They have. I've seen a couple people with that, and I'm curious to see what they do with that. That's a game I haven't really messed around with a lot. Maybe it becomes a title that enters the RCB Learns rotation, but yeah, I am curious to see what they do with Fexel, because I know that's a game that there is a pretty decent fan base for and everything. I'm curious to see what it will be.
It's a neat game. It feels like it's gonna sound weird coming from me, but it feels a little too janky for me. Like something with the jump ins and the combos just like feel off to me, so I can't get a good feel for it. But it's a neat game overall.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I guess I can go ahead and promote this too. I am actually getting things set up for the next RCB Learns that we're going to be doing Monday night at 7:30, and that game is going to be Persona 4 Arena Ultimax.
Heck yeah!
I'm actually in the process of installing that game on the PS3. But yes, I'll go ahead and tease that now. That will be the next feature.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh,
good
here we
morning.
go.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Welcome to
Okay, so Giuna and Michael Murray are doing the English side of us here.
The producer of Tekken series. How you doing, Michael?
Good. You know, all things considering yourself.
Let me know, guys, how the audio is sounding with the stream.
But yeah, it's been a pretty wild year, I guess, from the start. So there haven't been a lot of.
If I need to turn the stream audio up a little bit on the Bandai Namco side.
So I believe you guys, it was your team that came up with the idea to
host. Cats, you're going to be Crab Paws this week.
All of our
Crab Paws.
Crab Paws.
Because this whole
like
COVID
that.
situation.
Which, by the way,
everyone was planning for a certain event, you know.
We just finished
wait a second,
the Fight Crab episode of RCB Learns.
I got to catch the YouTube archive of that.
Yes, I will be uploading those later. So
I missed the live ending to that anime arc.
To get everyone in the same stream.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
We'll have something, bright news and whatever for everyone.
There is a Tsukine has got a Grand Blue background behind him, it looks like.
The idea for this stream is we're going to spend the first hour or so.
Granted, it could be just a background, but still.
From Twitter.
We have
questions. I'm sorry. So whatever they discuss.
So there it is. Eureka, KTG, Capcom is there, BNE.
You know, it's going to be rough with 13 people, 11 people. Sorry.
Yasuda Esports, Harada, and Akubo are all there.
Guys on Twitter looking forward to this, but there will be some announcements.
Fall DLC reveals potentially
for the whole thing.
Mr. Subs, have you played Persona before?
All these publishers from Japan in the same
what you call it?
Capcom, Arc,
I played the first one, but I did not play Ultimax.
Koei Tecmo.
Harada beer at this hour? Probably. Yes, that's the case.
So obviously it's not normal. Giuna and Michael, we're gonna have to.
Torengad, Giuna is on the Bandai Namco stream. So if you're wanting to watch that, you just go to the Bandai Namco US channel.
Esports, so he's kind of like our guy in Japan who does the esports stuff, similar to maybe what Ayano-san would be doing for Capcom.
So,
So he's going to be kind of helping to proceed the event today.
But yeah, right now, guys, they're just doing a self-introduction. That was Pachi. I guess he changed his name to Sekine. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, that's his real name,
Yeah,
but
he doesn't want to use his gamer
most
name.
people probably know him as Pachi, right? Now we're seeing Nishitani-san.
So maybe we do get a little bit of
The
Grand Blue
legend,
news
the legend.
if Pachi's there.
People, you know, currently he's fighting EX Layer, but this guy is known for, he made Street Fighter 2, the original Final Fight back here. So this guy is like considered a godfather in Japanese FGC.
All right, so yeah, like June is saying, they're just doing their self-introductions
Then we
and
got
everything.
Oda-san up here in the left with the director Kuroki.
By the way, guys, let me know if I need to turn their stream audio up a little bit.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's kind of buffering
so these guys
a
are
little
out
bit.
in Osaka, right there in the west, the west part of Japan. You see that little blue bar in the middle? So they
Social
are.
distancing properly.
We should do that too out here.
Have
Make
an
sure to
invisible
stay
bar
safe.
you can't see,
Yeah.
right? This is Kuroki-san, the director.
Good morning, good morning. Yeah, everyone's saying good morning because out here, guys, it's 9
a.m., right?
9 a.m. I was up at, 6:30? I think a lot of these guys were here. They wanted to make sure that they did this for the kind of overseas audience, all right? That's why we're out here and getting ready for the Western prime time rather than Japan.
And some of the people had the fancy backgrounds, you could tell, but then we got like Yasuda Esports and Harada from their house. This is actually Harada's personal mic that he bought and set up for work from home.
It looks pretty expensive here.
Harada.
Yeah, as I say, that mic looks like it's a pretty solid mic that Harada's got.
Overseas, they're not
Yo,
known
it's
as
a
well,
professional
some of the other
ass
people, but these guys have been
mic,
kind
man.
of creating
Yo,
Street Fighter 5.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
development
how
team,
like
So this is one of those rare instances
how
where we get to see them
Daisuke and
hear their
Harada both
thoughts.
have like professional mics,
Yeah.
and everyone else is on like headset.
Oh, so he's saying, right, Nakayama-san has been since Ultra Street
Like-
Fighter 4, so he's been part of
Yeah,
the
you
director
got
of the Street Fighter
got
series.
Harada
so
and
it's my first time seeing him
Daisuke
out
with the
Yeah.
you know
in the face
musical background he
We've
has
met him
obviously.
during the Street Fighter
They're
crossover stuff.
being professionals all get out.
Koei Techno.
My man Yasuda over
Shimori's
here
on
with
Street Fighter
the
6
with the
producer
earbuds.
right here.
Yeah, he's rocking the earbuds.
This is kind of, I'm used to seeing, you see Capcom and Tekken, they meet up and they talk a lot.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've really seen Koei Tecmo get involved in this kind of group.
Yep.
I think this is like a cool opportunity now.
That is
Shimbori-san
true.
just
You don't
mentioned
really
he's been on
see
the series for
Tecmo
16
getting
years now.
involved with things
16
like
years.
this.
Wow.
Not really. Like
16
Techno
years.
Koei
This
has
game's been around a while. I played it
largely
first on,
done their
Dreamcast?
own thing.
Next year will be my 20th on the Tekken series. Isn't
Even
that
within
crazy?
the
We
US,
gotta have a little party or something
DOA
like that.
events was really only like
And again,
almost like
here's
an East
Moche.
Coast thing,
So
really,
again,
right?
still
Like you would only
just
see it at like East Coast
self-introductions.
throwdowns and
After
stuff like
this,
that, or
we will
final
start
round.
the discussion. What will they discuss?
Cat saying I don't
know.
think
I read some of the
Daisuke's left his
questions out
office
there.
since the lockdown.
A lot of,
Nah,
you know,
man, you
there's
don't know
been,
what Arc System does. They keep
100 plus
Daisuke
different
locked in a
topics that
basement and
they're
only bring
asking,
him
but
out
they
like
can
every
only
once in a
do-
while.
I think
Five?
That's it.
five, but
He
they don't
stays
know
in
if
the
they'll be able to do
studio.
five,
He
right?
just
They
he
have
stays
five
he
ready.
stays in lockdown.
They don't know if they're gonna be able to get
Nah,
it.
funny twist.
good
The
news
Arc
is that
home
they did say
headquarters
they're
is actually
considering
just
doing more
Daisuke's
things,
house.
right?
Yeah,
Ah,
everyone
you
tunes
might be
in,
right.
Everyone likes it.
Yep.
And
You
now
might
we
be
just
right.
had Okubo,
Mr. Sub saying he misses Daisuke's
Daisuke's.
Jesus look.
You said it looked like
I kind of do too.
I
he
do
looks
as well.
so-
It looks like
You know,
the
it
Soul
has that
Edge and
color.
The short hair
yeah,
thing
Soul
is definitely a
Calibur
different.
colors.
Yeah.
Obviously Harada.
Yeah.
He
So
said he's blurred out the background, but it's from his house.
yeah, he says he's at home, right? Some people, like you see SNKs at the studio.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we just kind of mentioned.
Yeah,
you know, what I was just
Daisuke
talking
used to
about
have
with
the
you about how this whole
long
thing
hair.
came
I don't
about.
remember if he ever had facial hair, but
Right. So
Did he have a
said they were
goatee? I
asking
can't remember. It was
people,
so long
So
ago.
trying to figure out who do
Our
we invite?
African
who we
god
invite,
Daisuke.
right?
yes, this
Who do we
yeah.
invite to this
Daisuke
kind of
is
gathering, right? 'Cause there's so many
African
people
Japanese.
involved, so they're kind of
Yep.
cracking jokes here.
He's got the mix of everything.
People maybe don't get
He
the
really
gravity of the
does.
situation. You know, like Western devs.
Fun
maybe
fact,
they can
Daisuke
just decide
was born in
themselves, hey,
Africa.
dude, let's do a stream. But
he was.
that's not how it's done in Japan. To get all these companies on board
Yeah,
and to
it's
have
very strict out here, right?
them allow it, this is really something special.
And then Yasuda, he's
I
gonna
will
be
say,
the-
though,
one of
like,
the
this is
MCs
pretty
of the
cool
event, right down here.
Along
that they
with
were able to
Fuji's
get
on it
everyone
as well,
together
right?
like
Yeah,
this.
Fui's the one that you hear talking right now.
Obviously,
Yeah.
circumstances or
Yo,
anything kind of led to this, and I do think as well,
So,
like
yeah,
maybe the
self-introductions
formation of
are
this is
over.
also because of the fact of the
And they're gonna
Evo
show up the time
cancellation
schedule
that
right
took
now.
place and
Let's see.
everything. So maybe
True,
this
true.
is their
So
own
from
way of
9:15,
trying to like
we got
get their
the roundtable
info out
discussion,
there
right?
since there was no Evo to do it, obviously, you know.
And he's just explaining what Juna said about.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, normally you'll see these
beforehand.
kinds of things at like panels when it comes to like Evo or other gaming events, right? They'll grab a couple of producers, throw them on a panel, and ask them questions.
I got spoiled.
But we haven't had that this year.
But
So
all I'll say is definitely stick around and definitely.
Oh yeah, thanks James, appreciate it. Yeah, he just put in the chat a photo of Daisuke when he had the long hair going. He did have a little bit of like facial hair, had like a little bit of a chin strap going.
All right, so I think a little bit, it's supposed to start 15, but a little bit early. They're going to start the talk show.
Okay.
So they're taking the questions off Twitter.
Oh, okay. So they're doing a Twitter Q&A.
So now it seems like we're proceeding.
Thank you, everybody, for the self-introductions. They said they took some of the questions from English as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so
Yep.
it's not just Japanese
yeah, I
questions.
remember they were
Some of you
tweeting
guys from
about
overseas
the
get questions
hashtag that
involved
you can
in here.
use to submit some questions.
Did you submit any questions?
No, I was too lazy.
Yeah, and Yasuda, I don't know. You guys can't tell probably, but he's got this like really thick Kansai dialect.
From
The other thing
Zenosuke,
they also
when is a
mentioned,
Hatsune
earlier
Miku
is
guest
that,
appearance?
since there's Mike also kind
Man,
of brought
either
it up,
give
is
me
that there's
Miku
all
or
these different
Sakura Wars,
companies,
man.
right? So,
Oh, that's true. Sakura Wars
if
fighting
one
game would
company
be kind of
okay
cool.
with something, but
That
another
would be
company
dope,
is not.
dude.
They can't
Yeah.
really discuss this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we have to find a topic that everybody
Put
involved
Sakura and
can
Tekken.
discuss and share their opinions on.
Nah.
So that's what he's mentioning. We're trying to
That'd be
decide
kind of
which questions to
interesting.
pick here.
All right, so let's
I'd
see.
play.
Yeah, I mean, it really is so much going into coordinating all of this, so including the questions and what they're going to talk about.
We are used to the West a little bit more wild. You get a little bit more like free to speak here, but it's still quite strict out here.
But I did feel that they picked some really fair questions this time, so we'll see.
Obviously, it's only 5, so not every question that people want. I know there's some big ones that people really want that might not get touched on this one, but hopefully, again, if you guys can keep the reception, say, I like this kind of content, please bring us more, they can do it again and maybe hit them up. But anyway, here we go. They said each question they're going to do about like 8 minutes or so they're going to discuss.
Yep.
That makes sense because it's probably best to have a time limit on this, especially with how many perspectives that you have
Now
here.
he's saying, yeah, there we go, the English.
Yeah, I'm
selection
curious how they're
roster
gonna
characters.
bounce it around.
So they're going to start with Capcom, but you've experienced with this as well,
selection
right?
of
yeah,
roster
You've been involved with
characters.
picking some characters.
Yeah, and we've kind of, Harada and I have been pretty vocal about that. Comes up on Comic-Con panels, etc. Okay.
And Gianna does a good job with the stuff that he puts
So now
out.
just
and
talk
everything.
about
He does.
listening
He does.
to
He does a good job of
feedback,
like
but also think about their
turning on
user,
and off the
base
trollness,
and
right?
try to kind
Yeah.
of discern what kind
Be
of
a
taste
real
they would like.
goofball, but at the same time, he can be super serious when he does translations. So like he's good.
And now
Harada's
Right.
gonna-
And
feel like
I
Harada's
think
gonna
I
turn
think
this
that's
putting him on the
into
the
spot,
thing.
right?
Yes,
He's
he
like,
can be,
okay.
I feel like Harada.
he can be silly, he can be a troll at times or anything, but like when
So
it
raise your hand
when
when
it
you talk.
becomes
right
like
here,
you said,
so
when
we
it
can see.
becomes something serious, he's
So we got
pretty much right on the ball. And I know like a while back he did have a little bit of, I guess,
the
a
one
little
thing
bit
about
of
Street
something
Fighter
that happened with
that's
he and
mentioning that compared to
Daigo
some other
with
games
some
is that Street Fighter's been
mistranslation
around
stuff and
for,
everything.
I
But
don't
ever
know,
since then
30
he's
plus
been
years.
super
Yes,
solid
yes.
with
So they
that.
have a lot of
35
like,
maybe,
Yeah.
a
right?
lot of very classic, very iconic
translating is hard,
characters there.
you know?
Oh, very much so, especially
whole-
when
a
you
large
translate
pool
from
that they
Japanese
have
to
to choose
English,
from,
you know? Like reading
So they're
that
talking about how
text
Street Fighter
everything.
doesn't
Well,
just
I mean,
take,
actually, hell,
classic
no,
characters,
you
but
actually
also
do know about
characters
that
from,
because you've been studying
other
that
series
and
in the
everything.
Capcom,
Yeah,
Final Fight and things like that.
it's tricky.
Even
Just
now
trying to
he's
find
touched
the
on
right
something we
way to
also take into
phrase
consideration,
something.
and that's the martial art.
I almost feel
and
like
also, the
English
nationality
fucks it up
character.
more than the
I know
Japanese
Harada
side
talked
because
about that
just
a lot,
English
right? You
is
wanna
a
make
hard
sure
language
the
by itself.
character
Right.
is
Yeah.
liked in that country, but also does justice, right?
Right.
I know with
And then again-
Shaheen, he talked a lot about it.
And like us as well, he was talking about trying to not have as many characters in the same vein
Yeah,
to have a lot of variety there.
Yeah, that's honestly probably like one of the
And then
harder
other
aspects
characters that might
of a fighting
be a
game,
good
right?
format
Is trying to
do
create
mechanics
characters
and ideas, right?
that are just so
let's try
unique
and
from
have
another.
a development
Like you don't
team,
want to
come up
like
with new
create,
ideas,
like,
new mechanics, and keep pushing the genre
too many
forward here.
clones, so to speak, right? So like trying to find things that make characters unique and also appeal to certain you know,
And then
certain
talk
players
about,
and stuff like that, because
Street
each,
Fighter's
you know,
closer
each
to the real world.
fighting
I
game
think
player
it's
has
about
like their own
locations, right?
aesthetic
Yeah,
that they're
he's
looking
saying
for and
too that
everything,
Street
right?
Fighter, you know,
So
every
trying to
game's
keep
different,
those
so you
same
have,
aesthetics, but also
you know, like
do
Arx's
something that's
games,
going to
which are very
be
anime, very
unique
like,
in that
kind of
regard.
fantasy inspired,
That's
but Street Fighter is very
obviously
close
one
to
of the
kind
more
reality,
challenging
you know, even though they're doing
aspects.
fireballs and everything, you know, it kind of takes place in the
tricky,
real world.
and then
so
at the
one
same
of
time,
World Warriors,
you have
and
to,
you had that map
you got to
where the
realize you can't make
airplane
everyone
kind of
happy
goes to a
either.
different location
Right.
in between fights, right?
So
So
like
when they're deciding characters, they kind of try
when
and
picking
keep a character
characters,
that's a little
especially
bit
when you have a
more
game with a
realistic,
legacy,
you know, rather than like
not
we're gonna
everybody's
put
gonna
it-
come
you're gonna have
back,
Blanca, but,
right?
like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna
So
throw, like, a dinosaur man
trying to
out
figure
there.
out which ones you grab,
Who's
how
walking
can you
out?
change them to maybe be a little more unique than they
So
were
now who do we
before.
have talking?
It's hard.
Put your hand. Must
Well,
be
and
Fubi,
especially
if
like
Fubi's
when you're
talking.
bringing
Okay,
back
yeah, we
legacy
don't see anyone,
characters,
so-
right?
Raise your hand.
And like if you change up a legacy character too much, that like turns
You
people
talk
off
about
and everything.
the game
It's
system changes.
yeah, it's
quite
a tricky little thing
drastically
to
from
do for
different
sure.
installments.
Yeah, especially when if you made like a new
So-
original character and they
Also
play
with the-
similar
the
to how that old character
plan
was.
system
Now,
for whatever
now
installment
what do
they're
you do?
working
Because
on.
you're trying not to
Which
create
characters
like
might
too many
blend
clones,
well
as you
with
said.
Yeah, right. So like
Mhm.
Street
So
Fighter
you might
5
have
has
to
its
change them
own
up a little
game
bit.
design. So maybe you might
Yeah,
want your favorite
Cat
character
said
from
rip
an older
jury,
Street
by the way.
Fighter, and
Yeah.
that character might not fit
Yeah,
with the Street Fighter 5 game design.
one of our
They don't
locals
wanna
and
change
someone
him
that's
so
popped
much,
in that
so-
are
That's
you know
yeah.
into the
like
stream
they're
here and
saying, it's
there.
like one of the things
Rev
in regards to
is someone that's
more and
pretty
more and
vocal
more.
about certain things.
What I want to know is how much does Twitter
when it
get
comes to
involved?
characters or
'Cause
anything.
whenever
His
I
latest
see
was
these
the
guys on
Milia
Twitter, they're
reveal. He
asking,
was
like, give me this, give me
not
that,
a big
give me
fan
this,
of
give me
new
that. Do you
Milia
have any
for
insight?
Strive.
How often do you guys listen to the Twitter?
I think got to
monsters?
see more.
Rod and I are
Those-
probably on one
those
end
clips
of the
don't
spectrum
do
where,
enough.
You know, we're quite
Yeah, even the
in tune with what
gameplay
they're
reveal
saying.
thing that they did, you know,
Okubo-san maybe
it showed bits
somewhat
and
like
pieces
that.
of it,
I'm not
but-
sure about that.
Yeah.
and that's
yeah,
I mean that's honestly the
we
thing.
haven't
Like
talked about
you know,
that.
whenever
I
you
wanna
get
hear
like a
social media.
reveal or something along those lines, you're
And
like,
honestly,
okay, you
there's
know,
differences in how much English that
you want to
each
see
of these
some
producers
stuff,
can
but they don't want to
comprehend
reveal
correctly as well, right?
everything. You know,
Harada
they
being,
want to leave it
an
to where
MMORPG guy
you know
himself,
the
playing
player
with
gets the
foreign
character in
players
their
for a
hands, and
long
then they
time,
just start labbing on their
understands
own.
quite a bit of
I don't know how
English.
many
Right.
times I've seen a reveal trailer. I'm like, I don't know
Now
about
he's
that, but then I
talking,
pick up
Rada's
the character and
mentioned
I'm
about he
like,
believes
oh
Street
wow, this
Fighter,
character's actually
the
dope. Or
opinions
vice
differ
versa, I
depending
look
on
at the
which
trailer and I'm
installment
like,
that player
Because
base
the game's-
got into
man, this
the
character's
series,
dope.
So
right?
old,
But then,
right? So people that were with the original,
you know,
people that started
you
with 5, right?
play
they
it
might
and you're,
have
like,
different ideas of what
underwhelmed
they
by that
think is
character.
cool or what kind of
Yeah.
character should be in the game.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
So you're
yeah.
just saying like, if you do
So-
a poll to ask opinions
Cats,
about
I like her
characters,
new
it's
hips.
kind of hard to see because you don't know which
I
player.
think a lot of people
generation it is,
do.
right?
Yeah, and the
I
other
think,
thing,
yeah,
too,
yeah,
is
Milia's
it's gonna
hips
be,
are-
you know, younger players, right?
Yeah.
Usually
We're
the
definitely
younger
a thing
players,
that
guys
was
more
trending.
Socially,
That got
connected
buffed.
Yeah.
on social
In-
media.
in
and on
the
internet.
biggest
Those
of
guys are
buffs.
gonna mash on the pole, right? The old men don't know what they're doing.
Another thing he's mentioned is kind of funny. We see this a lot where you'll get a particular character that's like
man.
stands
Oh,
out.
Persona
on the
4
polls
is
online,
almost
right?
Yeah.
But then if
installed.
you actually release it, it's
Hey.
not as well
Sam,
compared
please
to the
wait.
other characters.
I didn't realize how
Might get-
long it took for a game
Yeah,
to
it won't
install on
be space.
PS3.
Yeah, it takes forever, dude.
Yeah. Like I was
And then
surprised by
Matsumoto-san's
that.
also
I'm so used to
mentioning
things being
how we
super
kinda think
quick
too that
install on like
you take
PS4 or
it
even
as
PC
one
and everything.
ingredient, right, to your
PS3's
decision.
like
Yeah.
And if it
it's
matches
gotta,
up to what you
like,
perceive
read the
that
script,
player
write
base
the
wants,
script,
then it's
all
just
kinds
one,
of
like,
stuff.
thing to kind of test that theory, but
but
it's
it's
not
there
like
now.
the deciding
So
factor
that
itself.
will be set for RCB Learns on Monday.
Heck yeah.
There we go. Got it.
And Rada
Good.
also explaining, as we
You
often
get
say
to
for our title,
play with
we
Shadow
take,
TA.
user opinions, but
Yeah.
we also take background data, usage,
5A
et
into
cetera.
death.
There's a
I've
hard
heard.
question, right? 'Cause there's
I've
no
heard
answer,
stories.
Right?
Right.
There's
Excited
a
about
trillion different things that come in.
And
there.
you get to
I
see
wonder if we're gonna hear from
Mitsuru
the
in
other
her
producers
element.
as well.
I remember Mitsuru in her element from the first
Yeah, hopefully they
Persona.
can jump in.
Oh,
for
it's kinda hard
Arena,
to grab the
but
mic from
Now you
Rada
get Shadow
sometimes, right?
Mitsuru.
Yeah, then that's the scary one.
Now he's talking about, this is another topic we often touch on, that player usage
Yeah.
and popularity is
Popularity.
not necessarily the same thing, right?
So they're also talking. He
That's true,
mentioned
too.
like how strong they are too, right? So
Right.
Yeah,
he's like, some
characters can be
because
popular, but they
they're
may not
strong,
have a
they
very
use
high
more
player
often,
usage
they
or
get
something
used
like
more
that.
often. Doesn't mean
Simply
they're
because,
popular,
you know, there's
right?
different
It's just more
elements
people
when you
gonna
look
play
at
that character
characters.
because you know they have a very high win percentage there.
You know, maybe they don't
So
fit your
gathering,
play
like,
style, and
concrete
you're looking
count
for
is
something
very
that's
difficult,
more
is what they're saying.
accessible or maybe more technical, just depending on what you want to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about
he's
Guilty
talking
Gear
about
is a good
Sunken,
example. Think about
Salmon,
Biken,
when we
right?
had our
Mhm.
poll.
Imagine how look at how popular she
player,
is, but also
Yeah.
look at how much
2
she's
years
played.
ago.
Right.
No one
This
plays
is like
Biken.
something I
There's
heard
like
when I
3
first joined
Biken
the
players
team,
in the
but
world.
way
Yeah, people
long
always
ago.
say no
They
biking,
had,
no
Salmon
no
character
biking, no bite.
Salmon the fish?
He was
Yeah.
bouncing on the
And-
stage,
and
right?
then-
And he got.
They still don't
you know,
buy it.
He didn't make the
Exactly.
final cut way back when.
I don't know how many times we heard about that,
Rod
right?
put it in just
Oh,
to
yeah.
see, right?
Yeah.
Shout out
Also,
to the
there was a
underground
data point
biking
in the
army of
game that when
Jacksonville,
someone,
Florida.
they reverse engineered it,
Yeah.
I found the
All
data
one of
from
them, which
there.
was you. That was
All
it.
one of me.
And then
Seems
you.
like
Oh, man.
maybe
Did I hear
it's
about
not
from
a
a bunch
good
of people
idea to
though?
have shotgun.
Oh,
Maybe a 2D
we saw
game.
it. Not just hearing about it, but like people
Oh, yeah.
There's a
chatting
praying
and
mantis
stuff
as
like that.
well.
Everything.
I mean, you
Even
guys
comments
put in
on Facebook
dinosaurs and
when she got
Oh,
revealed.
kangaroos
Oh, I'm buying
and
this game.
I think it's not
Nobody
too,
buys
too
it.
weird.
I was ready to leave the
So
army,
he's like,
man.
How's it gonna fight? Like, how are we
I
gonna
was
make
like,
a
let's
fish
go.
fight?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
how are we gonna make a fish fight? Rod is saying.
And then I
Make a
turned
2D
back
fight
and no one was
People
behind
are
me.
complaining about the peanut not being able to hear her, right? Imagine a
That's
fish lying
funny.
on the ground. It's gonna have to stomp or use
People
Paul's like
complaining
down
about
punch,
a lot
right?
of stuff, man. I feel now is not a time for it. Don't bring back the salmon. We don't need them.
Nah, no
We don't
salmon,
need 'em.
please.
The salmon.
I'm trying to
Tekken.
have a peaceful Twitter account at the moment.
So now he's gonna ask. So that was Capcom.
It's kind of hard to answer
Yeah,
after
people
that,
are
right?
watching
Does
this out of
Capcom give you like
curiosity.
every possible answer?
Damn, they
He
got
always asking the other people,
20,000
what do you
views
guys think? They're
going
gonna
on
say
now
the same, yeah.
on the Bandai
Yeah,
Namco
it's
channel.
about the same.
I bet. I
Is
bet
the
that
art-
chat is probably
is he-
bleeped
So
out.
Is the Arc System feed the same thing?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
They
it's all the
mentioned,
same feed.
So
Gotcha,
Koei
okay.
Tecmo was a little bit. They said, you
But
know, we
they're-
take everything
this
that
is the only one that
Capcom
has
said,
the
but
English
there's also what
commentary.
we wanna
Gotcha,
make,
okay,
right?
so everyone
They
else-
said
yeah,
characters
okay,
that
gotcha.
we wanna
So this is
make,
the only thing that
as well
has
as characters
English,
that fit
gotcha.
in the story. Like we design them.
そこにマーケティングちょっと乗せてって形で国を決めたり見た目を決めたり
And then after they come up with the idea of the base, you know, you discuss with the marketing team is like, what kind of character should we make actually? Like, what would be
Like
good
the
for the game?
background setting, right?
Yeah, where should they
Yeah,
come from, what
this-
country?
for those watching and everything,
That's kind
so
of
this is
like
kind of like
a
the
little bit
schedule of
reverse
things
what
of
I
what
thought,
they're
right? They make
doing,
the character
and
first, then what
there's
kind of
a
design
friend of
and the
mine in one of my
story
other
after. I
chats
thought
that
it'd be kind of
kind
the opposite, but
of shared
marketing
this
is
info
important.
too. So this Q&A that they're doing is going to go until 9
Now they're talking
o'clock
about hold?
as far as
Okay.
the schedule goes. So 9
is this talking at the
p.m.
moment?
And then 9
Somebody
p.m. will
is-
be
Oh, still, right?
Yeah.
when the announcements start coming in. So
Gotcha.
this is still going to be very much a long Q&A that they're going to be doing with everybody. So if you're
Talking about a
waiting for
character.
the
Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
announcement
He
and
was talking about a
everything,
character before.
you got a little bit of wait.
that he was
It's going to
forced
be
to
at
cosplay, I'm
least
not sure.
40 minutes till we start getting into announcements.
Yeah.
Um,
And
we gotta-
that's
We gotta be
that's something I feel like the FGC they
So
don't
he's like, if you're talking about
really
dead or alive, right?
think about stuff
Dead
like
or
that because a
alive.
lot of people really
Sounds
just
like
like
a girl,
give me the
right?
announcements
What
right
kind of
now,
characters
right?
you want?
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
well, Dead or Alive series.
But a
it's
lot
all
of
about
times
the
with
girls,
these
cute
especially the
girls like
Japanese
theirs, what
streams, they
everybody
kind
wants.
of a little more
He knows his
informational,
audience, I guess.
right? There's more discussions that goes on, and this I really viewed this as like a PAX panel, as just like people gonna get around to
Attention.
each other and just have some fun, right?
sure.
So
Something
Okay.
was around
And I think, like you said, if you ever been to an
During that
Evo or even like a PAX or
Ah.
an Anime
And then you're
Expo
thinking,
or anything
you know,
along
yeah,
those lines
like
where
that,
there's going to be
They
some
have
type
like a
of
little
Let's
bit
do
of
something cool
competition.
panel
together, yeah.
convention feel
Yeah.
to it. There's always going to be Q&A
Yeah,
first.
and
also,
There's always going to be
they-
Q&A. There's always going to be
They had
discussion
the Shiranui
about
Yeah.
what's going on and
From
everything.
Yeah.
And
SNK as
then
well.
at
And
the end of it is when you
Dead or Alive
get the
5,
big
correct me
announcement
if I'm
and
wrong,
stuff
but
like
I think
that.
it
and
was
everything.
Akira, right? I think it was
Exactly,
Akira
exactly.
from Virtua Fighter.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
one of
how
those
they
like
decided on the
you don't
guest character was like,
you
let's
don't
work
want to
together and also have like a
completely
little bit of competitive.
you want to keep
rivalry.
people in tune to what it is that you want to talk about, obviously,
yeah,
right?
they gotta be
so
strong and cute.
everyone knows
That's
that people
their-
are going to stick
their,
around for
one
announcements.
of their
Everyone
criteria.
knows that people are going to, you know, they're going to get
He's
it.
like, if you make it
But
like your
they don't want to blow that
immediately
immediately at the front of it, and then everyone else just tune out the rest of the convention or
Yeah.
panel, so to speak.
Exactly.
And then he's
So
Rod is
that
mentioning
yeah, this is
SNK's got,
very
you know, very long
yeah, this
running
is
franchises as
very
well. You must have
by the
lots of
book
requests.
as
Especially
far as
from
like
the
the
China
way these
area,
things
Yeah.
operate.
East Asia.
Cats, I don't know
Taken to,
when.
like,
I'm
these
gonna
legacy
sponsor you to
series.
come
I
to
mean,
Anime
it's,
Expo
for
one
every
year.
game here is
Yes.
I don't know when
series,
that's gonna
so they
happen.
all have
Yes,
really
we need to
long
make that
history, a lot of
happen.
different characters and
I need to go
franchises and-
that year too.
You do
Ho-
too.
Hopefully things will allow us to do that in 2021.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
And
We'll see.
trying to get the gist of it, it seems like Oda-san's saying that they have so many
Yeah, they have so many
different
characters
franchises
already.
that they're able to fit
Yeah.
a lot of these requests into at least one of them.
And they say what
My
the
friend
fans want,
Eligio
right? It's like we have so many
tweeted
like,
at me asking when's
IPs
Fight
ready to go.
Crab.
It's like we listen to the fans and then
Dude,
show
apparently-
them
Fight
in
Crab
here.
win.
You missed it.
Oh, he's
You
talking
missed
about
you missed
Shiki.
the
Yeah.
entire Fight
One of my
Crab thing.
favorites. Sam Show, right?
It's the whole
she's very
anime.
popular.
Gotta go back. Buy the
The
Blu-ray.
whole anime. The whole thing.
So I think it's saying, and this is another important topic, that when you look at the lineup, if it's a bunch of
Yeah,
older
I'm already
main
seeing on
characters,
the
right?
timeline
Didn't have
people
any cute girls on release.
Right, and you gotta
people
think
kind
of
of
that
saying
in
like,
that
oh,
regard
it's
as well.
boring.
They're talking about
Oh, of
Wanfu
course.
and-
What's
the
GCX?
The Chinese monk guy.
I'm not
With the big
familiar
sword,
with
right?
No, he's
that
got the big
acronym.
pillar. He's got the
pillar, that's
yeah.
right, and
He's
the
like the
beads.
grappler there, yeah.
Oh yeah, Cats.
So
What's
he's
a
like, man, our lineup is all
GCX
just
or
dudes, it's all
James?
dudes,
What's
man.
a
We gotta get some cute
GCX?
girls in there.
Just
So
send me
that's
some
kind of what
JSB merch.
Capcom mentioned too
We're
about
working
balancing
on
your
that.
roster and
We're
seeing,
working on
And
JSB merch.
That's always tough for us.
COVID
too,
ruined
especially,
that
you know,
plan.
because
We're
the
working
player
on it.
base is
Yes.
quite divided on whether they want
Yes,
really
that's
cute
very
girls or
much
they want more realistic
that's very
tough
much going to be a
fighters, you
thing,
know.
but we're working
It's hard
on
to
it.
please everyone in that,
Yeah.
that aspect.
It might be delayed a bit. We missed
COVID
out on the chance
screwed
for the
up.
JSB
So,
match.
Is this Daisuke?
Yeah.
yeah, Lord Daisuke.
COVID really
Daisuke
did screw up a
Bless.
lot of
He's saying
plans I had
first
in
thing they
mind this
decide is,
year.
Oh,
number of
dude,
characters,
you
right?
and
like,
me
how many
both.
characters gonna be in the game,
Merch
and then
was
after you
definitely
have
in
that
there as
kind
well.
of
Yeah,
limitation, then
you and me
decide
both,
who,
man.
Right.
That
like, what
screwed
type
up a lot of
everything.
things.
Uh-huh.
So again, he's talking about
Cats with the
the
thumbs
same
up.
thing.
We
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you,
yeah.
man.
The same
We
thing
got
that
you.
K mentioned. He's
Oh, yeah.
like,
First
on the
it's
list.
just all old dudes.
First
and
on the
we
list.
gotta get some different.
We got to support the Malaysia
archetypes and stuff
branch.
in there.
Of course.
This is a good topic too. He's saying.
By the way, you
you
interest
really
me
have
by
to think
saying
about the looks of
a
the character
coffee
and their
float?
popularity on that,
Yeah.
and then
I'm kinda
the
curious,
popularity
man.
of the play styles.
Yeah.
Because they're not necessarily,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
one side.
Guardian
He also
Con.
mentioned,
Okay.
the ease
Okay.
of play too, right? You can't.
Oh,
have,
okay.
like,
Gotcha,
10
gotcha.
super
I didn't
duper
know it grew that
technical,
big.
difficult to play
Okay.
characters, right? You
Yeah,
have
I'm
to have
familiar
some
with that event.
Technical, some are a little bit easier to play, like the ease of use of the cast here.
It's a very good topic, and we're gonna spend the whole time on this, maybe. Yeah, right?
No, they have on the schedule. They have it. They're gonna cut it. They said they're just gonna talk and then they're gonna cut it down.
I guess this would be a question I could pose to you guys and everything.
So yeah,
Of all the fighting games that you guys have played,
and then
what fighting game had the most
intriguing,
interesting roster?
Right. So we have to just take the opinions and they have to be aware when
Intriguing,
they decide all the new
interesting
stuff in here.
roster.
I think now
I think Yasuo
they're like,
will
yes,
come.
Does
come
game
on,
mechanics
gotta-
count into that?
Yeah.
Yes is
Yeah.
being
So,
really
like,
soft here, saying,
how the
we
mechanics
should probably move on to the
influence
next
the
topic-
characters and how they
right?
play?
Yeah, that's Yasuo's job is to stop. Next question.
You know what? I'll
It's tough,
say
though.
yes.
I'm not
As far as
mad.
it goes. So
I mean, if it's right
this
or
includes
wrong, it's like, hey, come on, let's
aesthetics
go, but
and just
can't
the
just
way
be
the
like that with
overall
publishers,
game
right?
environment
Crossplay.
feel.
Oh,
Okay.
this
As
is
far
one
as
of
that
those
goes.
difficult ones.
Melty Blood. Melty Blood
What has
actress
he got
again,
here?
current code.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Just because
this
like
is
you have a
boss.
cast of like 35
You don't know who
characters,
this is?
No.
but
Hayashi-san.
with the Moon
From Team
system,
Ninja,
which
the
is like
leader.
Bruce
Oh,
from
word.
CBS
Yeah,
too.
Hayashi-san.
Every character has 3 variations, and they're wildly different. From the game mechanics to the normals that they have to their frame data to their special moves. So that roster is incredibly diverse, and even
What?
within each character
He's saying
is
about to keep
incredibly diverse.
the live operations of a
So
certain
you're looking at a
going,
game
I'm
that
not
has
sure
like
which one I
90
can catch it.
characters, and like
And then he
it's
said,
wild.
well, there's budgeting
Gotcha.
and all
Yeah,
that. And
well,
Harada
Yeah,
said,
Melty's
I'll
definitely up
take
there.
care of the budgeting. I don't know what he
As
meant
far as
by
that
that.
goes.
But
Somebody said it. Yeah, somebody's
Let's
like,
see.
This
Cat says Guilty Gear, obviously.
stop.
Yeah, Guilty Gear definitely
like, you
is
got
up
the budget,
there
we'll
as
do it.
far as
Oh, this is the
a very
Japanese
unique
thing,
cast
right?
and everything.
So that guy was Koei Tecmo's boss?
You know, I'm
Hayashi-san,
kind of
he's the
going a
team
little bit
leader
a little
for
bit of a
Team
different
Ninja.
route.
And he was probably the, I think
And this
the
is a
producer
game
on, like,
I
previous DOA
messed around
titles,
with
but, you know,
in RCB
like,
Learns.
happens, he got higher up positions. Now he's in charge of the whole team.
And it's a game that's still in development. But Islov,
all right. So now we're talking about the
All right, it's
like that,
technical
like,
difficulties
and
of
you guys can
crossplay.
go check out that that RCB
not
Learns
that
episode
hard,
that I
maybe,
did of
because,
Islov, but
it's peer-to-peer.
that was
It's
some
not like a
interesting
dedicated
stuff
server
that
in most instances.
the developers
You
have
were
as
saying,
far
like,
as
every-
the
each
characters
fighting
go
game
with
is different
that.
ways they connect
Like,
online, too.
you know, from some
So
aesthetics
you're
where
saying
like you
everyone
had
besides Capcom, but hold on.
the one ice dude Cecil
So
that like
Yeah.
he
it's
didn't
not
have a
really
walk
technical
mechanic. He was just
barrier.
running the entire time
I'm
and was
kinda
just like a
curious to
rush
see what
down
he's gonna
ice
say from
character.
here.
Yeah.
And then you have another character where she
He's talking
doesn't
about PS3
jump;
and
she
Xbox
just
One
automatically
era.
flies. You know, so
right.
like
He
there's
made
some
a PowerPoint
interesting
presentation
takes that they have
saying he wants to
on
do
how some of
crossplay
those characters
and
were operating in
approach
that.
the,
So
first
that
party.
one's up
Yeah.
there for me. I'm kind of curious to see the final
Right.
product
'Cause, you
for
know,
that.
mobile titles
Yeah.
were
Arcana
out
Heart,
there at the time.
Cats
And
mentioned as
to
well.
compete
That's
with
another
them,
one
he
too.
wants
Very
to
much
open up
Arcana
that
Heart.
I love me some Arcana Heart. That has a
But he
really early
said
wild
the first
cast.
parties
Definitely,
they would say
like that's a
them, yeah,
game
well, we
where
wouldn't do it,
it's
very-
all air footsies, but even in that game you
Like
have
Phil
like a
Spencer
puppet
from Xbox,
character,
he
right?
was
How does
mentioned by
that
name,
work?
was like,
You
yeah, sure,
have
man, let's do it.
characters that bounce off walls and riding animals, and then you have the Arcana system, so everyone has different elements, and yeah, that's a wild cast.
Yeah. I'm
we would like
let's do it. Let's do
to
it.
discuss it.
Yeah.
That's definitely
I think
a game
so
as well.
They're all sounding very.
I think in the same realm as Guilty Gear,
it sounds like
Blaze Blue has a very diverse cast. Every
things that you
character
have
has
to
their own
overcome.
actual minigame mechanic.
Yeah, Blaze Blue.
Especially
I've
like
kind
a
of said
free-to-play
like Blaze
game where you
Blue
have
is like a fighting
huge,
game that has RPG elements.
Audience there.
Yeah.
Because
A lot of times we
when
see
you
them open
unlock
up the
some
gates
potentials
to
with
that
some
crossplay.
characters, they become
But for
completely
package,
different and everything.
Each character is their own game.
Like a
Right, the
download
drive
version
system
of a game.
really makes that different as far as
So,
how that
what
works
I'm
and
hearing
everything.
is that,
So yeah, Blaze
crossplay
Blue
has, like,
is
the
definitely
barriers and
another one
everything,
that's up there
but
for
if
sure.
you, like, the
And there's
free-to-play
so
games are
many
naturally gonna
different
have a much higher user
styles
base
of
than
play
the
that
games
you
like this
have
that you have
access
pay
to
and you have
in
buy
that
here.
game.
So I think it costs money, right? It
Yeah.
might be expensive for the first-party people to have that cross-play server right here, or allow it from the other games.
The water blob girl in
So,
Arcana Heart. Yeah, I remember
it's
her.
not, like you mentioned
Oh,
earlier,
she's
it's not
great.
Technical
That
issues
might
so
be a
much,
game I
it's more
I
like
revisit to
the-
try to learn
the
again. I think I
first-party-
played like 2 days of that, and then I was just like, moved on to
I think
other
this
stuff.
one's more
but
important what he's talking about.
I enjoyed my
now
time
is,
with it. You were actually showing me
you know,
the
each
ropes in
platform
that
has their
game.
own ID. The
Yeah,
PSN
I'm a
ID,
big advocate for Arcana Heart.
There's another
I
one,
will
too.
gladly play
To
that game
connect them.
any day of the week.
Oh,
There's a
you
lot
know
of
what?
things you
Speaking
have
of
to do.
which, you know what that
I
reminds
can't
me?
believe he's going in this much
I
detail.
still need
He's
to
talking about
get
you have a
your
single server
copy
where
of
you've got to take,
Aquapaza.
like, if I'm on PSN
Oh
and
yeah,
you're on XLive,
yeah, you do.
Yeah, so I need to get that going. Uh-oh. Is that on their end or is that my end? Did the stream buffer on you?
we have to go to some
Nope,
server
still going.
outside. and
Okay,
they
so
give
it's
us
just
an
on my
ID
end then, it buffered.
that isn't matched. Well, it's not
Okay.
tied
It
to
picked back
either
up
of those
though, so we're
platforms,
good.
and you kind of tie the XLive ID to that
I didn't
ID.
drop any
and
frames
my
though on my
PSN to that
stream,
ID.
so that's good.
And so, like, the
Aquapaza
server
is
infrastructure
great.
and the
That
security
game has
protocols and stuff
one
like that.
of the best grapplers of like all
Yeah, he's
time.
definitely.
Oh,
he keeps,
no.
He keeps kind of saying like, "We can do
That
it."
scares
like,
me.
I think the underlying message like, "We can do
Grapplers
it."
are-
We can do it. It's the
grapplers
first party,
are
you know, it's
already
the
my worst
consoles, the
matchup.
platform
Oh
companies here,
man,
they
nah,
have the
man.
difficulties that
It's
come with
like
this.
so. Ladiva's a great grappler. Definitely one of the best modern day versions of a grappler. Just has all the tools she needs.
Right, yes.
Tamaki
He's talking
is
about
like
next gen.
Ladiva before Ladiva.
At least
Oh,
from the
I see.
player's perspective.
Like she was one of the best grapplers ever
Obviously,
made.
you can
Like,
do it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, like
before
other games do it.
Ladiva
Why can't we
came
do
out.
it?
Yeah. Ooh, this is actually
we
a good
realize the
topic. This is a
expectations
topic
can
I
be
didn't
quite
think
high.
about. Crossplay
Crossplay.
features.
Yeah,
That's actually a really good topic because, especially with the new consoles coming out, and I think there's a lot more people that are migrating to playing on PC
Yeah,
now
right.
and
So
everything.
This is not just, even though it's Harada talking about
I'm
Tekken,
curious
this
to
is not
see
just
what-
a Tekken
what they
issue,
may
right?
say
A lot
about
of
this
games
one.
Are like this.
Yeah, they've been talking about it
Fighting games,
for a
other
minute or
companies have the
two.
same problems.
So they're kind of talking about how involved it gets in terms of like getting the servers and stuff allowed for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying he's going to try to approach the first
But
party
it seems
a bit more on
difficult
this
to
topic.
actually implement.
Yeah, so earlier on when he gave that long speech,
Is
right,
it
he
because
basically
of
was
the
saying
fact that a
he
lot of the
already tried,
online
like, the
for
presentation,
fighting
he
games
went to
are
everybody, everyone
based off
sounded
head-to-head
like,
instead
yeah,
of
let's
actually
do it,
connecting
let's
to
do
a
it, but nothing
server?
actually happened, and then
There's
it's
a lot of
difficult.
details.
That
actually
there's
figure out
also
when you-
like
So he says he's going to keep going.
before
Crossplay
you had to
still,
kind of
an
go to
important
each like the
idea
first
here
party
for Harada.
developers, right? So you had to
So
go to
he's
like
gonna keep
Sony to
Matsumoto
ask them
from
to be able
Capcom
to
now.
connect with like
Talking
Microsoft
about his
users
thoughts on
and
it.
whatnot.
He says he also
Like there's
thinks
a lot
it's
of
very
tape you have to
pretty
go
important,
around.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And
Um,
Ishwatari-san also saying, obviously, from the publisher's standpoint, it's not the best to have our audiences split
Yeah, they
between
definitely
platform
want crossplay because that keeps all the users together. But what he mentioned is that there's
Something about the devices?
technical, right? Technical, you know, like a Switch versus a PlayStation 4, they have
Right.
different technical aspects. So how are you going to have a game? What are you going to do to make the game playable across each platform there?
Yeah. Now there are some games that do the
And so,
cross-play
but even the
aspect
peripherals,
better
like,
than
maybe
others.
on certain
Yeah.
platforms, you don't have as many
One game
arcade
that
sticks,
comes
et
to
cetera, so there's a
mind,
lot of
for
things,
example,
to actually
is
work out.
Yeah, that's a good
Power
point. Like,
Rangers,
if you're gonna
Battle
do
for
a
the
crossplay
Grid.
game, do you design a game for one system and then just
the
try and add it
crossplay
on,
for
or from the
that
start,
game
do you
is
design a game that's
actually
gonna be,
solid.
you know, equal
Yeah.
to play across all platforms there.
Fantasy
Even Pachi's
Strike,
talking about
I messed with
because
that one
of
as
the
well.
way you input on
They
each
do a
device,
decent job
they
too.
would have to take
The
that
only
into
time I had an
account,
issue with Fantasy Strike
the way that the
crossplay is
game
when I
would
tried to
fit
play
different
someone on a
among platforms,
Switch.
and you know, if that's something
Really? Was
Yeah.
it like a
Probably not
connection
designed on
issue,
that.
or
Very
was
much
it
a
like,
connection
Yeah,
issue.
Pachi, like,
very
they're
much
all
a connection
saying,
issue
like,
because
Daisuke and Pachi both
let's
said,
be
yeah,
honest,
this
a
is
lot of
something
people
we
use
definitely
Switch
wanna
on
do.
Wi-Fi.
Everybody, of course, we
I
want
mean,
crossplay, but it's
that's
not that
almost
simple,
your
right? It's
only
not-
You can tell
choice.
here
it's not
they,
simple.
Right.
there's a lot of
Unless you
thought
get a
put
LAN
into it.
adapter.
It's not that
So,
they
but,
just,
Yeah.
whatever, we don't want to do
the
it.
crossplay from PC to
There's still a lot of little hurdles
PS4
here to get good
is,
crossplay.
at least on my end, and I was playing on PC, it was okay and everything.
So you're
And I
saying,
will
like,
say this
FPS,
too,
you
because
have
I've
many
recently
different,
gotten back into Street Fighter V
input
a bit
configurations, I
on
guess, right?
PC, just to see
And maybe that's
if
kinda
it does
one way
play
to
better
work
than
around
PS4.
for some of these problems.
I will say the
To provide more of those
connections
for
that I've
platforms.
had, even on crossplay from PC to PS4, from the
But then,
PC aspect,
figuring out those
is
fine details
substantially
something that
better than
takes a lot of
PS4.
time as well.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
substantially
But yeah,
better.
right when it looks
Yasuo's
like he's gonna get
cut
cut
him
off
off.
with time.
Yeah,
but
you
if
usually
Pachi
have better
again,
experience with
he
PC
said this is
versions.
definitely something we wanna
Mostly
do, just,
because
again, there's
you're
still a lot of
almost
hurdles,
always
so
on a
don't
wired
expect
connection.
it anytime soon,
Right.
guys, but the devs are thinking about crossplay stuff.
And yes, it is. Just talking about that leads in quite well to the next one.
Arcade
Yeah, 'cause it
Talks about
controllers.
arcade controllers, right?
About arcade controls, what is this going to be about?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as well.
Arcade controls good or bad? Is this the story?
I mean, I think they mean like arcade sticks, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
So
fight sticks.
they haven't hit on this
This
yet,
is Oda-san.
but I kind of wonder about this because of the PS5 that's right around the corner, right?
I guess this is very.
And anytime you've had the new
This is
systems
one
or
of the
anything,
kind of legacy.
they've always
things
then
of
had to
fighting games,
release
is
a new
this
version
culture
of a
fight
controller and
sticks,
stuff like
right?
that to be
So
able to
he's
be
saying, too, that
playable
he, you know, because
on
some of the
that
old
that
SNK games
system,
came
right?
Very difficult.
And
you
of
know,
course,
very
we
high
saw on
execution.
PS5 now,
Back in the day, you
they only
have
have
to
one
use an
USB
arcade
port on the damn
stick.
thing.
But he's
For
talking about that's kind
whatever
of like a legacy
godforsaken
thought, the culture
reason,
of arcade
they only have
sticks.
one USB port
So-
on the
But I think
PS5.
what he's trying to convey
So-
though is he sees it
So
as
I'm
something
very
that he would
curious to
like
see
to
how
kind
that's
of,
going to
convey
carry
to
over.
later generations, right? To kind of preserve that arcade
Yeah,
culture, right?
I'm curious to
Definitely
see how
phasing out a bit.
that'll work. We'll cross that bridge when we get there with the PS5.
Yeah. Well, and you know,
He's talking about
are they talking about it like having a splitter in that regard, or what the case may be? It's rough. Xbox has
Yeah.
stated
Yeah.
that the
Got to do
controllers
updates
are
and all that
backwards
on our side to make
compatible.
sure they all
I don't know
work.
about PS5.
But then even
Well, that's
Yeah.
for the
mentioning the
controllers.
decline in manufacturers
Yeah,
of
man,
sticks.
If I
things are
remember
going
correctly,
down
there
as
weren't a
well,
lot
and
of
he said we're
Xbox
entering that
One
area, so
arcade
he's saying we're
sticks
entering the
that were
era
announced.
where- I mean, we've already been in
or that were
you
done.
know,
The only
hey,
one
what's
I
this
remember
text?
was the Killer
But
Instinct one.
he's like, we're entering the era with,
I
you know,
wanna
maybe
say-
arcade
Did
controllers
Razer
slowly
do
getting
one?
phased
Yeah,
out.
A
I think
DBFZ
Razer
one. That's
did
right. Yeah,
something.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
he's not
Razer
gonna-
did a
He's
DBFZ
like, yeah, I got
one.
this.
Yeah.
He's got to print out for everyone, huh?
He's good.
Harada's got all the faces.
Nishitani-san is just saying he has
Harada could be a little bit of a troll at times too.
Harada is one big
You
troll.
kind of grew up
He
in
is,
the
absolutely.
arcades.
He's yeah.
I still would not mess with
But he's
him
saying
though.
that newer generations,
Yeah.
they're
I
starting
mean, I've
off
seen
on
him sitting at the
controllers,
third strike cab with the AK-47 or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't mess with Harada.
Fighting
Yeah.
games have pretty complex
I know that man's got
commands,
some
but
ties.
these newer generations are able to do it quite well on a
Yeah.
gamepad.
Right, he said because he's OG. That's a very common like mindset from back in the day. It was like you can only do these complex inputs on the arcade pad, but he's surprised, right? He's like the new
Yeah.
guys, they're doing it just fine on pad.
He's saying like all the guys here, close to 40 or over, so they all probably use arcade controllers. But
Gosh, that's crazy.
Most of the player
All
base
these
is shifting
developers
towards
are
gamepads now.
either
They seem to be
near
doing
or
quite
in
well,
their
so
40s.
Maybe it's not going to be a
Yeah.
big problem.
Yeah, man.
He
Yeah.
feels
Video
that
games have been at
maybe
it for a
half is
while,
on
man.
Gamepads
Yeah.
at the moment.
Long
He said when
time.
you got to tournament, you see everyone using arcade sticks. You might have that idea, but he said he feels like half people are on pads, and then Harada said more than half, right?
Right. I've even noticed that
Well,
with
in,
Tekken.
in particular,
people,
Tekken,
when we were
there's
having
a
arcade
ton of
only
pad
in
players on
tournaments,
Tekken.
some people couldn't
I
actually
want to
join,
say
especially a lot of
Tekken was
foreign
one of the
players,
because they
first
could only
fighting
play on
game
pad, right?
That happened a
arcade.
lot for the Japanese Invitational tournaments,
Yep.
right? You qualify.
Yeah,
in the
Mike-
States,
Michael
but the
Murray
guy
just hit on
qualified
it.
can only play on pad, and then it's
On
like,
some of
well,
the arcade
now
caps
what
for
do we do?
Tekken,
I
they
think
actually
we
had
even provided like
controller
a USB
ports
port
that you can
Right.
plug
on
in
a
your controller
special
to.
version of the
Right,
arcade
yeah.
cabinet for one or two of them.
And they did that back in like I want to say Tekken 6 cabs.
Makes
Like, it was a
sense.
long time
Now
ago.
he's just asking about ARC. He feels that their player base is probably a higher percentage of arcade controllers, maybe. And then we
I think
got,
that's fair.
Daisuke-san here.
Yeah, I think it's fair. That's a very good point. I think there is a lot of,
Yeah,
He's
he's
saying
like,
he's part
a
of
lot
that
more
generation.
players
said
that play
I'm not
Arc
as old-
System
I'm not as
games.
old as
Like you and
he's
me,
tiny, but
probably
he's
play
from
on
the
arcade
sixth
stick more.
generation.
Yeah.
It's like, especially repeat inputs of a button.
Yeah, because they're talking about, arcades have the double tap.
It's funny because I can't.
You couldn't do in old games.
I don't have the
Or that was
dexterity
kinda
to be able to
necessary in
play a
old games, but
fighting
games you
game
don't
on
really
a
need it that
pad for very long. So that's why I prefer playing the fighting games on PCs or on arcade sticks. I mean, because of that fact, it's more comfortable for me to play on arcade stick,
especially in the
for that than trying to play on a pad for those.
Yeah, like I started on pad, and I can still play on pad. It just takes me a little while.
And then he's talking about
it's mostly because
kind of like the rapid button
finding the
presses and things
macros,
like that,
right?
makes you
Finding a
feel
right
more
layout for a
immersed in
controller
the
scheme
you get
is
more
the tricky part for me.
right?
But once I get a
feel
good
like I'm really going
good
in here,
scheme,
right?
I can play on pad. It's not.
That's a good point.
Now I will say there are some games that have been developed that are more
conflicts with
that can have a bit of a focus more on pad players with the way they do like some of their macros and everything in that regard. Tekken obviously being the one.
He likes the difficult inputs.
But I think there's some other games that kind of like allows it to be like pad might be a better choice to play with a certain game than arcade stick and everything.
I mean, you got Tekken, you have DOA, you have
skew towards either.
Soul Calibur's really good on pad. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is a good pad game as well.
Yep, and that was one I was going to bring up actually was Grand Blue.
A lot of like 4-button fighters are pretty solid on pad.
So like your KOFs.
We're shifting towards
KOF isn't
the esports
too
era.
bad. Well, KOF has sometimes some really complex inputs.
Right, the directional inputs.
You're an athlete, right? Like a pad or your racket or whatever.
You'll find a lot of 4-button games are pretty solid when it comes to pad.
I think that's kind of interesting about the possibilities.
It's when you get to like 6-button games where it gets a little awkward.
Right. 5 to 6, like Street Fighter, for example, or even Guilty Gear for that matter.
He's talking like
and even then, like you get some situations where some of those inputs are so. Oh God, it's Mori. Harada put up a photo of Mori.
He was talking about, maybe it'd be cool to have different rules. Like you can even have like modded arcade sticks. Like you have modded arcade sticks. If you press this one button, like it'll do like a very complex command. Like have a tournament just that allows that. Have a different tournament that doesn't.
A simple input tournament. Oh God.
No, we brought up Mori-san here.
Like,
he said he only plays on pad, right?
He's like, I don't have an image. He plays on pad, right? He doesn't, right? And they mentioned, his arcade stick.
Freaking Mori.
He said he's dropped it. He's seen Mori-san drop the arcade stick from his lap several times.
Playing on his lap, he dropped it. Maybe he's not a pro.
Good old Mori.
Mori-san's not here.
I'm glad he was able to participate in some way, though. Mori-san's a super cool dude.
Okay, Harada, we get it.
Harada's a troll, man. Zooming in here.
He's trying to have a serious discussion, and Harada's like trolling him heavy.
Mori's staring into everyone's soul right now.
Right.
That probably would be a very intimidating thing,
you can't laugh, and if you do, they kick you in the behind, right?
Who knows what's going through that guy's mind at times?
How many photos do you have ready to go, Harada?
That is kind of funny.
He said he doesn't have everyone.
Oh my God.
But in case the SNK connection fails, he's got this as a backup.
Yesterday during rehearsal, there was a joke where they were using Wi-Fi. Like some of the guys were using Wi-Fi, so Harada yelled at everybody. He's like, you're supposed to be fighting against. Why are you going to be using Wi-Fi? What's wrong with you guys?
Oh gosh. Wi-Fi conversation.
Wi-Fi goes down again. We have this.
It's like the scariest thing.
So now we're on to the next
question.
All right.
Ooh. Next question.
Is this everybody wants?
What would be the user experience in future fighting game?
Okay.
Future user experience of fighting games.
What does this mean, though?
It's a very general question.
Yeah, that's a very general
it's pretty
question.
open-ended, right? This is again,
what would be the
Daisuke-san,
user
right?
experience? Like that can mean so many different things.
Yeah, it's super broad.
Like, are they talking about accessibility in this case? Are they talking about
don't change that much,
single player versus multiplayer? There's a lot of different things that can go with this.
Users expect this to occur, every 3 years, maybe every 5 at the most. So, what are some new possibilities? Maybe like how does AI maybe affect it? maybe there's some kind of interesting possibilities there.
He said also, like, up until now, we just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again for fighting game. So he thinks rather than Ishitari coming up with ideas for the future.
Oh God! Oh no!
This is the value of this kind of group discussion.
Right?
So let's have everybody. What do you think we can do in the future?
But it's kind of like
Harada.
poker, right? It's like, do you really want to
I might be a little bit ahead of you.
Tell me your idea.
Oh God, I just see it. Yeah.
As well.
Fuck.
Where's the
God.
block? Oh,
There's Ono.
And this is Mochie-san gonna give us his opinion. He believes matching, of course, right? A better experience there. But he's
Oh
not
my
from,
God.
development
I think
background.
Harada's trying his best to derail this entire thing.
Of course. Dude, Harada is like wasted right now.
Oh,
right?
he totally
Saying
is.
that's kind of
He's
important element of
he's
the
already
game.
started his
Like
morning
right.
drinking and everything.
Yeah, man.
And if that experience isn't tight, then you'll lose your player base over time. So he believes everyone is trying their best to try to improve that aspect, especially.
That is a very big thing, matchmaking.
Currently, we
The
have,
Guilty Gear
rank
Strive
is one
beta
way
that
we
was a
divide
couple months
players,
ago.
based
That
on
was
a
probably
skill,
like
whether
the
that's a
biggest
certain rank, whether that's a
criticism
point.
of that
attribute.
entire beta was
But
the
you know which one is best. That's
matchmaking
kind of
was
something open for discussion,
atrocious
right?
with the way they did that.
So yeah, do you want to cut people up by ranks or by experience, like point system? So the point system you can just kind of grind, right? You don't have to be that good. You can just kind of grind and go up here. They keep mentioning AI though. Is this what they're talking about? CPU? Could this be something?
Well, I
Making
think
the AI
concept
tougher
is something
in
we
some
come up with
regards?
as well. That
How to decide.
a perfect AI character is going to be
Or
most
not
fun
necessarily make
experience,
tougher,
probably,
but
if you don't know it's AI, because it would be
Not
perfectly
SNK
at your
boss
level where,
AI?
you know,
Is
you
that what
feel
they're
like
saying?
You're growing.
maybe not. Yeah.
So I think Harada's
That's
kind
a
of
good
touched on
question.
that.
Toughest
I think he's
boss
talking
fight
on the
that you
point
ever
and
done
the
in a
rank.
fighting game.
No, he is talking. He said he's talked
kind
to
of hard.
IBM people before about this.
I think
AI
it's the
and
score
maybe
attack
improvement
mode.
on
I
the
think it
player
was.
experience.
The final boss is
As a
Arcana Heart.
result.
Arcana Heart 3.
Arcana Heart 3 boss?
Yeah, she's a fucking bitch. That one is
So
ridiculous.
taking all the different data,
Yeah.
feeding the AI program. And
Yeah.
For me,
And the IBM guys said, if you
Um,
have enough data points, maybe that opens up
It's kind
the
of funny.
possibilities even more for something. But the real time
SNK, King of Fighters
data
96
and
Gonets.
everything.
Ah.
kind of, on
Gonets. And
is
the
one of the
worst
big
part was
hurdles
he wasn't even a
that.
real boss.
you have to
He was just
get the data from
he
both
was just a
sides.
damn
The
servant.
CPU, whatever you're using, has to compute all that. And
Like,
But
then
he
output
was-
it,
not
but-
do this.
in real time.
Right. But he was even tougher than Orochi in 97.
And that's something that's
Which
it's kinda
is
hard
wild.
to see how to actually
Oh yeah, Omega
Yeah, at this
Rugal
point,
definitely.
currently.
Yeah,
You mentioned
that's a
that
good one
personally
too.
That's a
you
good
said
one.
there's
And
not a lot of
even
companies
Omega
out that
Rugal
are
in
working on this
Capcom
right
and
now, so
versus
right now it's
SNK
difficult,
too
But he's like, in the future, this could be something that comes out.
was one. But
Yeah.
yeah, King of Fighters 96 Gonets.
Oh, and they say no.
I mean, you
maybe
can't go wrong with picking an SK boss.
Mochie-san
No,
was talking
no.
more
That's
about
notorious.
how to
Yeah,
more
and of
effectively
course
match people
Super
usually.
Turbo Akuma
That's kind of an interesting idea, yeah.
was bad. Zero? Is that which Zero? Which by the way, Soft and Wet. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
And it's
Which
just,
Zero are you
kind
referencing?
of what I touched on, that if you had an AI
Is that
opponent, maybe you
KOF
don't know
2001?
it's AI,
Okay, yeah.
If you're
for someone
brand
Yeah,
who
he was a
started,
tough one too.
If you're
And they
a
just
brand new
barely
player,
let you
yeah.
in, and you kind of feel good about your experience.
I mean, other games too. You know, you fight bots and stuff. And
Yeah, I've seen
I know,
that.
yeah, you fight a bot.
If someone
when you're
drops
low
out,
level,
like,
yeah, a
partway
bot will
or
come
something
in,
like
yeah.
that, or
I mean,
not enough players.
Every FPS games have it, MOBAs have it. Fighting games don't have that yet. But yeah,
be
developing
interesting.
that would be hard.
Throwing in bots there to fill
Right
out
now,
a
still,
tournament.
You know, in fighting
That'd
game
be
CPU
interesting.
is still doesn't
Yeah,
really feel
I mean,
too-
it's the idea of getting
It's
the
not
AI
for
right,
the
right?
perfect
To where
placement
it
for a
feels
person, yeah.
more human-like rather than just super robotic.
Yeah.
You know.
Shout out to Galactus being a joke in Marvel 3.
So
Yeah,
I'm saying that
Galactus
it has
was a
to feel
joke.
really human.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
that's
the-
what I'm just
honestly,
saying, right?
those
Fighting computer now
bosses
feels like they're
in
just
those
doing
Marvel
random
games
things, right? They're just doing
weren't
random moves and
exactly
stuff.
super tough. They were all very beatable.
2008年 he said?
I think
Yeah,
I've
it's
only
2008, he
done
made an
the
online game in
Galactus
China,
fight.
and
in Marvel 3.
I've never really
but,
done like the arcade
player
mode
base
for like any of
soon
the other
realized
Marvel
it was
games and
AI
stuff.
on
Yeah,
that.
Marvel 2 boss fights
I mean, that was a
were
long time ago, right?
Yeah,
the Abyss. He was a pushover.
but
Apocalypse.
the feedback.
Once you figured out his pattern, was a pushover.
People
Onslaught
really
was a
like to feed,
little
real
challenging,
human,
but
right?
he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
he was
You feel
very
like
much.
you want it.
Once you figured him out, he was
These guys,
easy.
they're coming out and saying they're going to lie to the
Onslaught
player base.
might
Is
have
this
been
what
the
they're coming out
toughest
and saying?
one.
That in the future, you're
For
not gonna know
MVC.
if you're fighting. It sounds like
Could
Yeah,
be,
he might have been the
but
toughest one.
I guess it depends on
future.
how you enjoy the game, right? If it has to be
Shin
a
Oni and Ultra Street Fighter
if you just
4.
want a really exciting match, I guess it depends on your player expectation, right?
I don't know,
Really?
I never,
My personal
yeah, I don't remember.
But
not what they're
I don't
saying.
think I ever
Well,
came
what they are saying
across
overall,
him.
though, is a really important point.
I
is,
remember
you know,
doing
if you go back
Shinoni.
to, it's not just about AI and stuff, but it's about.
I don't remember
always
it being
having an
super hard or
opponent to
anything,
fight,
but-
right? That's the issue. Is
Yeah.
that right now, if you're a new player,
That could
you
just
go
be
on,
me
there's no one you
wiping my memory of a
because
bad
everyone's either-
experience.
They moved on or they're too high level for you. So that's what this is coming
That
out.
might be true too. Yeah, the process it was hard to get to.
I think
That was
Oculus
one thing I
is
loved
going
about
back to the
CVS
matching
2,
and
right?
saying it's quite
Like
different depending on
CVS
which
2, you
platform
had to
you're
get
on.
a certain point
And then it's touching
structure
on AI
to be
now.
able to fight like Shinakuma or Godrugal in that.
saying the
You're right.
debugging.
Yeah.
I thought that was really neat.
Yeah. God, I miss CVS 2. Can we get a
It's like if
CVS
they
2
can
remaster
keep
for like
making,
PS4?
kind of
PC.
advancements and progressions around like the fighting game
That
debugging
would be
area,
really
then he's like,
cool.
maybe
Like,
you
can
know
we
having
get
a
that,
good
please?
AI computer in the future
I
could
would
definitely
definitely play.
be something.
Like, that's like CVS. I've been on record saying CVS 2 is my favorite fighting game of all time.
It's one of my favorite games.
It's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep,
the
Gil.
point
Gil
of
and
me
Third
saying,
Strike,
but
yep.
I think he's saying-
Ooh,
Gil
that's a
and
good
Third
one.
Strike,
I don't know
absolutely.
if it's debugging to like
Fucking
take
Resurrection.
bugs, but more.
God,
I
I
think
think-
to say tuning.
I
perhaps.
think I've only
The
beaten
AI,
Gil like
just trying to make
once.
it so it feels that
Yeah.
you know, even if it's the strongest character and you beat him really easy, it's like that doesn't feel good. Like it's about keeping that level.
Yeah,
that's
Gil
close, like,
was
it's supposed to be
definitely.
a
Yeah,
competitive
Gil's
match.
definitely up there.
Harada's saying
Wait,
we
you
have
could
some
jab him
people
out of
on the team that
Resurrection?
You might think they're AI. The way they
There were
play.
some
They
setups
always
about
use, like,
that.
They always do the same.
Oh, really?
Combo,
I
the
never
same
knew.
punish, the
Yeah,
same
there were some
everything.
characters
Yeah,
that had
dude.
setups off his Resurrection.
This is dude
Like
STZ
like
that play
Akuma
often.
actually
I
had
feel
a
that way
setup
sometimes.
where
Exactly.
if you had the
That,
meter,
right? That game is a
you could
lot
rage
of-
and
there's a
demon
lot
him
of, like,
before he
If you
resurrected.
play perfectly, it's like every time you block this,
Nice.
you're gonna do that
Yeah.
punish. Right? It's a very calculated game.
Die 1,000 deaths.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have some players that try to
Seth,
optimize it heavily. but some
Street
people
Fighter
just throw
4
away
Seth?
like a 14 frame or whatever, right? They'll just be like, I'm
I
gonna
don't
do
remember
only a
him being
10,
that tough.
And you know,
There were
12,
ways to like
15,
manipulate his AI.
Right. Like he was definitely tough,
Yes,
but
I know.
I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
he
it.
was. I don't think he was. I don't think he was an SNK boss, and I don't think he was Gil in Third Strike,
like,
or
they-
even Super Turbo Akuma.
I
don't think he
forget
was any
what
of
it.
those.
I forget what it
okay.
was, but like
Well, he's saying
you could do certain
is
things to force
kinda
him to
something
do
I've
certain
learned in
things and just
martial arts.
counter
He's
it
saying, like,
over and over again.
if
Like
you
there was a way to
higher up you
manipulate
get,
what
you
he
just
does.
Don't do
You can't do
attacks
anything.
yourself,
Right.
right? You wait for your
Yeah.
opponent and then you punish him or whatever, which is kind of like
So-
Why not
at
at CVS 3?
Computer
Because
just
I
might
don't
be
trust
able to- if you
Capcom
attack, the computer's
with the
gonna be
new
able to
fighting
punish
game
you
right
every
now.
time.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
right
like,
now,
at the high level, you end up just
that
standing there and just waiting
and
for them to jump in
also
and attack.
SNK.
But if you play fighting games, I
yeah.
think everyone's experienced this at one point where you
There's-
have that
there's-
opponent
there's
who doesn't
some-
come at you, right?
SNK
That's
makes
the
some
human
very
aspect, right? It's
questionable
like you have to put
decisions,
in
so that would
extra
actually
buttons or
scare
something,
me.
have to do that random
Like a
jump
game
or
I
something,
would
but if
love
you
to
fight
see
against an
remade
AI that doesn't get
is
the vibes,
Vampire
it's
Savior,
not gonna work like that.
but I would be scared to death of Capcom remaking Vampire Savior or Darkstalkers. You know?
Yeah, Capcom's just in a weird spot, man. I
So
don't.
they're talking about how
I don't know
if
what I
they
want
design an AI that every
them
time you
to
get close,
do.
they're going to grab you and they're going to block every attack. Like they can just
Make-
beat
continue
anybody,
making
right?
great
They
Monster
can make
Hunter
it, like if you look at like the open,
content.
Well,
broken,
that I'm not worried
boss
about.
characters that are, like,
Everything
perfect.
outside of the
I
fighting
think
game division
Harada was
is,
kind of picking on Orzhan about
like
the
10 out of
SNK
10 right
boss.
now.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the point,
He's
yeah.
like,
Some
Yeah,
like
if it's
genocide
Resident
copy, right?
Evil, it's
Which is,
Devil May
Rugal,
Cry,
yeah, right
if
there.
it's
Right
Monster
there.
Hunter World, they are on top.
But
Their fighting
SNK
game
is known for
department,
that,
though,
right? The famous old bosses that are like perfect, right?
Brutal,
yeah.
Every one of your
They're on some
inputs,
shit right now.
They just murder you.
Oh, Azazel
So,
was
all of a
Tekken
sudden saying,
6,
yeah, you know, if
actually.
we want to program that, we can.
Cats.
But that's not what they want. They want to make something that feels human.
Yeah.
He wasn't that tough either. There were some characters that was able to cheese out Azazel in Tekken 6.
I like what Okubo's saying here. So he says
I don't
even
remember
without
Azazel.
AI,
He's the
though,
big
there's still a lot of
dinosaur
improvements we can
Egyptian
make
dude.
to the online
Oh.
matchmaking system.
Yeah.
Right?
That now Zafina has like part of his arm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Okuba's
that's the whole
Oda-san's being
thing.
realistic.
So
He's
yeah,
saying,
that little
there is a lot
deformed
of
arm that Safina has, that's
optimal stuff you
from
could do, but
that's from
business
her,
when they're doing it, you
Azazel.
have to kind of keep in
Gotcha.
cost.
Jeddah and
to
Vampire
these things,
Savior,
and
he was
it's
a
kind
little
of
tough,
balance
yeah.
that you do
He
have
was a
to
little
take
tough.
into effect if you're in their position, right?
連携の部分はいいですね
And then Harada's like, yeah, we
Oh,
should just,
Ogre?
like, team up and
Tekken
Let's go.
3?
kinda try to
True
share
Ogre,
some of the
yeah.
stuff, right?
Capcom wanted
He
to
was a
give
little
some stuff.
goofy. True
So
Ogre
he's
was
saying
just
we
more
could even, like,
goofy
share
than
some of
anything,
our
though.
data on what
Like,
we've learned
he was just
about
weird the way he
ranks and
operated.
player base and stuff.
I've known, like, I've done work with Arika, and I remember just talking to those guys. They're like, Harada really.
So, all right, guys,
Harada
so
goes out. They said
if they're
Morton as
staying
well.
on
Very,
schedule,
very kind of
my light's kinda
proactive
flickered
for
a little
developers,
bit.
like talking with
I
other
think we're still up,
companies,
though,
sharing
okay.
and stuff. It's like he's not a very like secretive or protective guy.
If
He's
they're
all about
staying on
raising everybody
schedule,
up.
the announcements should
He's
be
one of the
coming
only
here in
ones
about
that
10
can do it for
minutes.
many reasons, and he's exception.
I just want to comment.
So anyway, next question here. So this is a
Before
very
they
hot
switch to
topic,
this
at
new
least
question
in
here, the
West
whole
right
user
now.
experience thing,
Yeah.
they
Fighting
got into
games
a really
getting
good discussion in
simplified and
terms
how
of
to stop that or make it
collaboration.
so that's
Oh,
acceptable.
yes, that's a big.
So
Who we got now?
they want to open up dialogues with one another and talk more about how they can share data with one another and
Obviously,
find
we all
new
have
ways to push fighting games and user
gain a
experience
new
together.
player base each
So I
other.
think that's
So
actually a
one of the
really
things
cool
that the
thing.
company expects
That
of
is.
us producers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because,
like,
you know,
when you make a new game,
it's
if you
interesting you
like
bring that up, and I know they're
whatever
getting
Dead or
ready.
Alive 4,
This is a hot
and then you're
topic,
gonna put
perceived
out 5,
simplification
it's
of fighting
you need to
games
get
and
new people with
countermeasures. This is
5,
a
but then
big
the people
topic,
you have
too,
before,
because
you need to keep
I don't know
that
how many
happy as
times we've
well.
all
So
had that
that's why
conversation.
there's always this kind
But,
of-
And he's
yeah,
saying,
I mean,
like, how do you guys tackle
obviously,
that? And everyone's like,
it's a
quiet now. It's
competition,
like,
right? Like,
that's
you
one
want
of
to
the
put out the
hardest
best
parts of our
product
job, right?
possible and everything.
Right? You
But I
can't
think
just
the
keep
thing
making
is,
the game for the same
they
group of
all
players, right? You
have
need
the
to-
very,
that's
they
where
have
the
the
motivation
exact
comes from.
same
So let's see.
passion, right?
Nobody wants to give it
Which
a
is
chance.
trying to make the best fighting game possible and everything, stuff like that. So if they're working with each other and pushing each other in that regard, maybe the products, you know, get better in that regard.
Yeah.
Not saying that like they've been bad or anything, but obviously you want to push, you know, your peers to be in the best possible. That's like us, like in our fighting game communities, right, and everything. Like, I know with all of us at JSB, we're very super supportive of each other and everything,
So,
right?
Shibata's
But and
just
what we
saying-
do with that
Shibata's
is
just
we always
saying
push each other to do the best we
There's a
possibly
difference
can.
between simple
in
and
that
easy,
regard.
and they're not necessarily the same.
That's just that because you just want the best out of everyone.
He's
So
saying that
that's a
obviously
good
wanna make it
angle
easy
to kind of go
understand
with
is
on that.
the main objective.
Right, exactly. Like push each other to do better.
So
And
whether that
you can
means,
still be
though,
competitive, right?
Cutting out
It's
some
like
systems and things might not necessarily
just
be
like,
one and the
hey,
same.
we found that
Find out, right?
doing this
Right, so
works
he says they're still
well
they're still
for
trying
these
to
types of
figure out.
games.
So
All
that's
right,
what the
cool.
new game's
Share that
drive is gonna
technology
be.
over.
They're changing things, so he's going to find
you
out
know,
if maybe cutting buttons out,
One
cutting
of
execution
the
out.
who was
Will
it?
this
Like
make it easier
if
to
Dead Realm
understand
was
the
part
game,
of
or
this
is it some other
discussion,
things
right?
that are important?
Yeah.
Just for hypothetical sake, they could explain how to do a story mode, right? How to implement single player content
So
better
you're
for
saying that
people and share that out with
you
other
need a system
developers,
that
right?
allows
Like
for
talk to
player
one
growth
another, see what
according to how much
works
you
with one
practice,
person
etc.
might work for
But
you.
then it has to
What
be
we have
kind
here
of
might work
easy
for
to
you,
understand
and
for new
push the
players
genre
that
as a
come in.
whole forward.
Right.
So it doesn't mean it's
You know,
easy,
so-
And
right?
that is the
It is
one
easy
thing
to
I will say about
understand what you need to
NetherRealm.
do, right?
And
While
not just
I
gameplay,
myself may
too,
not
it's
be a
just
big
like
fan of the NetherRealm
looking and
games,
being able to understand, like just
what
all the
they
menus,
do
UI and everything.
to bring in the casual audience and market
But
towards
then
the
if you can
casual
see-
audience
if new
Number
players
one in the
can
business.
see what the
light
game
years
system
ahead
is,
of everybody else.
understand.
Number
But at
one
the
in the
same time, it
business.
looks something like something that's awesome that
Yeah.
you want to do yourself. then it
100%
doesn't really matter
best
if
best
it
in the
means
business.
cutting systems down or not.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need to do that.
Maybe you don't need
You're
it.
just
If
saying
it's
that's
fun,
not
if it's good,
the goal.
yeah.
That's just one
Yeah.
method to try to achieve that, right? Cool.
Talk about a cooldown system, a la Grand Blue.
They're talking about, even as this Koei Tecmo, they're asking about Grand Blue, I think.
You know what? Grand Blue
Just
is
trying to say
very
that
much
Shinsei
a
means,
good
like,
example of
visibility to
that,
be able to
right?
Understand what's going
Like,
on at a glance, right?
I know
So trying to
I
tune
have
that,
my
but at the same
personal
time,
qualms
have
with
some
Grand
kind of
Blue,
depth,
He
but
was
it's
asking
not
about
necessarily of
So
how
Pipe's
the
gonna talk about
game
Grand
is,
Blue
but
now,
how
because
like the
Grand Blue
meta
has,
of
like,
the game has
cooldown
kind of
system. It's very-
developed.
It's simple. It's easy
But
to
I think
understand,
their
but
approach of what they've
adds depth to it,
done
apparently.
in having the accessibility there for newer players to learn things
saying
and
he doesn't
possibly
wanna,
pick up
decrease, you know,
stuff to
the
learn
inputs
the
make
actual actual game and like
cool.
get better at it.
So Granblue, you can do both. You
It
can
was
do the
a great
input,
concept.
Or you can do the easy input.
However, some of the things like the easy input DPs and everything was definitely taken
So
advantage
we're
of.
just saying if you could try to take both of those and
As
Yeah,
far as the
there's-
game
somehow
goes.
combine them into
There's some
cohesive
things
system.
around there, but as far as like easy input DPs, like I'm used to it because Persona is the same way.
Right.
So
That's fair.
It's kind of whatever, but
Yeah.
I think the block button is kind of the overwhelming presence there.
Yep.
So,
I have my qualms of block button too.
Like you said, what happens
But I
if we
think
get
they
both?
did approach
Rather than simplifying, let's just keep
creating
both options
an
in there.
accessible
So-
game.
Sure.
Probably
Try to
the
find a
best
balance
out
between
of
the
a
two.
lot of other people right
Yeah.
now.
Now, and I know I said simple input DP as an example, and I know it's kind of a little contradictory because like I play BB
I
tag
think
as
he was
well,
talking about
and the
the-
DP
Yeah,
is
that's
2
also
buttons in that
simple,
game.
right?
Yeah, 2D3.
Right.
Talking
But
the problem in fighting
here's
games about
my
inputting
thinking
your
on that,
command and then
though.
not getting it
And
out.
again, this is
I
just
think in
me,
3D games
right?
It's a little bit different, but in
Because
like
of
3D,
how
like, if you put
fast of a
Dragon Punch and you
game
don't get it, you just get a little
BB
jab
tag is
kind of thing.
and everything.
So he was thinking
Like
that
I kind
you
of
know,
feel
that's
like
part of
the simple
that is
input
part of
DP
the,
is necessary
difficulty of
in that
3D
game
fighting games
because of
being
how
able to put out
fast
those
it
key moves
is.
in the key situations.
Whereas Grand Blue
So
being a
what
slower
was the
paced
point-
game and
what was
everything
the
and stuff like
point of
that,
having a simple
I'm just kind of
input in
like,
there? So he's
man,
saying, we're gonna have
that
cooldown
type of
systems so you
deal.
can put it out
But
whenever you want.
like I said,
But
I understand
you
it's
have to choose the proper
contradictory,
time.
but like that's
Yeah.
just
Even
my
with one
philosophy
button,
on it
the
because I'm
cooldown is
like,
heavier,
it's
so-
almost
Yeah.
necessary
The
for how
cooldown is
fast
heavier
of a
there.
game that is.
Okay.
Nah, man, speed up your DP inputs.
So that's yeah.
But,
that is
but that's
the-
also kind of the same thing with,
difference if
with
you
like
don't know
Marvel
in
2,
Grand
for
Blues.
example,
Like,
right?
if you do
Because
the-
you had regular
command
input
input, your
DPs
cooldown is a little
in
bit
that
shorter
in that
here, but
game.
the easier one is a
But
bit
when were
longer.
you ever going to throw it out because of how fast that game was?
Listen, man, if you can't do a 1-frame DP, get out of here.
BB tag
So now,
input wise, you know, I know there was a lot of grief with that,
getting into the game,
but the way
right?
their
So if
mechanics
you
work
pick up a
in
2D
that
fighting game,
kind of
it's
made
the
it to
first
where
gap
like
of
those
doing all the
inputs had to be
everything.
necessary.
So Harada's saying by
big
having
With like
step
the
there, right?
mechanics and
by
how they
putting in
introduced
simple
everything
inputs in
else.
Grand Blue, there's
Yeah,
no
BB Tag is an
right?
interesting
You
one.
get in, and then
It's an easy
the
game to
ceiling
pick
won't
up,
be high, but the
but
entrance
it's
is really
also
wide
a
open.
really difficult game to really like excel in. Because
So, yeah,
the mechanics are
there's
actually
already
really
people that have been
complicated,
playing fighting games for
but
so long
on the
that,
surface
there's
it's
so
simple
many
to do.
godlike, really
So
strong
it's
players
a weird,
that help a brand new player
it's a weird
just
one.
jump in right
Yeah.
away.
I think he's saying that, right, that
It's-
it's not
it's-
just the input, right?
I would say
There's a lot
that
of things that
as
Skill
far
levels
as
you
can't
games
overcome
go that's
Yeah.
came out
against
recently,
a more experienced player.
to me, tag is still the most intriguing because of that aspect.
But again, this
quite
is
different.
Because those
difficult.
mechanics are
This is
just
not like
all
an
over the
easy
place,
answer,
you know?
right? There's no
Yeah.
clear. How do we simplify the game? Will it get more
What's
people in
this
there, or
Oh, it's a
can we
bingo
actually-
chart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's saying,
Yeah,
how do
Japanese
you
fighting
get
game
new player
publishers
groups with experienced
roundtable.
groups to be able to
DOA
play on the
7
same
announcement,
field, right?
Soul Calibur 6 trailer with
Was
zoom in
difficult,
on someone's
'cause,
chest.
You know, part of the
KOF
draw
gameplay trailer
to
featuring
practice in the game
Terry.
is to have that
KOF 15
thing
trailer
you keep
will
with you
show
that
zoom
you're good at fighting
in
games.
on someone's
I'm trying to
ass.
think in English.
That's great.
It's not coming out like it does in
Yeah.
Japanese.
GG trailer will
Right,
show
it's like if
show a
something is
close
simple,
up
it
of
doesn't
characters'
mean that it's gonna be
thighs.
good for just because it's simple doesn't mean that new players are going to
Ono
be able
will
to,
say
to play
Shoryuken.
something
Well,
like
Ono's
that.
not here,
Right, 'cause
so
you could do the
that may not
commands,
be
but you
something
won't
that
know
happens.
How to
the
play.
best
DBFZ
timing
new
against
character
someone
Master
better than that.
He
Roshi.
gave an
Soul
example.
Calibur
of, like,
will
fighting
show
in
last
our
two
FPS games,
characters.
that even if you're a brand new
Tekken
player,
will
all
show
you
a
do is you just
crossover
gotta shoot
character.
somebody, right? So
Some
you
of
know
these
what
are
to do.
pretty-
Even if someone's better
I think
than
are
you,
pretty
you
good
can
bets.
still get, if you get like a sneak
Lucky.
attack on them, you can always shoot them. But
Capcom will show a
fighting in
teaser for August 5th showcase. That would be very much Capcom. I almost said Comcast again.
But if we did that on fighting games, it could be simple. You could.
I'm
have,
wondering
like,
if
one
I'm
or two
saying
hit
that
kill,
like
right? But
Capcom
that
is
a
the
good idea?
Comcast of fighting games right now.
They kind of
The
are.
idea is to try to
move them down.
design a
like,
gradual.
kind of are.
It's
you know,
fun at all
staircase.
levels, yeah, right.
Capcom
Here, and
cast.
then you keep going, and keep going,
Yeah,
and keep going.
Comcast.
So that you get like really involved in the game.
Capcast.
Invested. I guess.
Capcast.
Yeah.
So yes, it's cutting them off to go to the next topic because
This
we're.
question is like a 3-hour discussion, right?
Oh, this stuff isn't something
Yeah.
you can do in like
In
5 to
8
10 minutes,
minutes,
right?
All right. So obviously it's 9 o'clock now. They're probably running a little late
So
on the
what was that, only
announcement.
4? So
Oh no, they
Yeah,
ended
we-
it. They just flat out ended it. So they only got to like 4 or 5 questions.
Guys.
Oh, we ran out
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah, I told you.
Move.
We ran out of time.
I mean
what
that
the
makes
ones we
sense
missed
though.
are.
Look how many people you
I
got.
don't know.
Like you
But
weren't you'll be able to
hopefully
fit
they'll
like
do it
every
again.
question in
Hopefully
there.
they talk more too, right? It's like 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It's kind of short.
Okay, they're gonna take a
We're
quick
gonna
break.
take a quick 5-minute break, I believe these guys are. I think Pachi-san and Daisuke
Are gonna
they
swap
said
out,
are
right?
going to swap out. They're going to to bring in someone else, Ozawa-san, I think.
Yeah, Ozawa-san, I believe, right?
Now, I know there's a lot of people watching that are only here for the announcements. Well, it's going to start
Soon.
from now. Yeah,
Soon.
so hang in there.
Okay, so
So I
they're
think
going to be
they're-
doing a quick break.
Yep.
Okay.
So he's
I think
got,
all in all, yeah,
Hutchins talking about his
like
Grand
they had
Blue
some pretty
Fantasy,
interesting discussion
stream they're
points
gonna have
Next
as
Saturday.
far as what it
Saturday.
goes. Notice though,
And
and
they
again,
might have
it
something
could have
to
been a
talk about.
time issue, but notice they did not say anything about the
So
online.
if you're here for Grand Blue news,
Outside of, like,
I don't
improving
think it's
matchmaking.
coming
Next week,
today.
right?
I think it's going to be next week.
Yeah, they didn't really get into it too much.
So he's not giving any answers.
Like I said,
he's just saying
they might do more of
yeah,
these,
Tune in
so
next
maybe
I know some people
they'll
might think that way.
they'll come back,
maybe-
take more
we'll
questions, but
Maybe that's something to
That's
talk
it.
about next week.
Yeah.
it was a little more general
What is that?
than I
So
thought
next-
it
so
would
next
be.
week,
Like I
August
knew it
8th.
would be a very
Is it
like
you say?
August
panel
8th, so next
style
Saturday,
presentation,
1 week from today.
but
Is
it
Nishitani-san
was
also
definitely
taking off as well?
more
No, I didn't catch
generic
it.
than I thought. I thought they'd get a little bit more technical into some aspects, but I thought it was pretty solid
So
though.
Daisuke
Yeah.
is
I'm
leaving as
interested
well,
in these
but
kind
he's
of things.
saying,
Yeah,
make
like
sure
I said,
you stick
I-
around to the end.
I
Make sure
didn't
you
re-
watch to the end.
I didn't really
And I'm telling
expect
you to make
too
sure you watch
much
to
out
the
of
end
it.
and watch on Twitter.
Like I was saying
as well.
earlier, as we were doing our lead
Watch
up
on
before
Twitter,
we got
Guys,
to
we're
it.
gonna take a quick 5-minute break. We'll be back.
Oh, wait a minute. I guess this is maybe. Are they doing ESL for Soul Calibur? Man, real talk, we need to talk to somebody. Open Series tournaments on PlayStation for Soul Calibur.
They're doing it for Crosstag as well.
Yeah, they've been doing that for... Yep, they're just doing that now, showing that now too. But Crosstag, they've been doing it for a bit now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they have.
They've been doing it for a bit now with ESL for that. Usually those have been taking place on Wednesday nights. I would have definitely participated in them, but the problem is I work Wednesday nights. So by the time I get home, they've already started.
True.
So there we go.
Now, didn't those events kind of have something controversial around them? Like, isn't their point
Just the-
structure weird?
They do Swiss round robin.
What the fuck is Swiss round robin?
No idea.
Okay.
But yeah, if Blue was here, he would be able to tell you about it because he's participating in these. They're doing one for Uniclear.
Yeah. I just remember there was one time there was like a 3-way first place tie or something.
Right.
I was like,
And
how
they
does
still
that
wor-
even happen?
Yeah. Okay, so they just announced Open Series tournaments for Soul Calibur, BB Tag, and Uniclear.
Clear. Good,
Ugh.
good solid. Good roundup. Sure.
But Uniclear's netcode is so bad.
All the netcodes that they just featured are bad.
They
Netcode is bad.
They are.
Uniclear's netcode is no worse than BB Tags. They're the same damn netcode.
While I know in the back of my mind you are right,
Mm-hmm.
BB Tags will get away with it though because of the way their inputs work. But
BB Tag gets away with it because you have 5B.
I mean, yes, you're
Yes.
right. you're right.
Bro.
You're absolutely right. I have a Yang 5B and I am not afraid to use it.
Exactly. No, Soul Calibur is straight up input is delay based.
Yeah, they're delay based.
Yeah.
Now I remember Harada said that Tekken's is kind of mixed. He said that there was rollback involved a bit with their netcode.
So Tekken is an interesting one. They implement some techniques, but for the most part, it's delayed based. But
Right. That's what I'm
they
saying.
they have a natural. I think it was like an 8-frame buffer. I believe it is.
Right.
But a natural 8-frame input delay, and the way that they structure their netcode, it's like it takes that into consideration, and the online experience feels more offline because of it.
Right.
There's a really good breakdown. He had an interview a couple years ago about it, and broke it all down. But it was fascinating because he put the input lag in there on purpose to make the netcode feel like offline.
Right. Yes.
was an interesting approach.
Right, and I know a lot of people were complaining because they're like, well, why did you do that? And it's just like, well, if you're wanting to have both atmospheres be similar with each other, the philosophy of it makes sense in that regard. However, there's also one other thing to keep in mind too, with those type of games when you're looking at it and everything too. PS4, for example, PlayStation 4 has already native input delay in its system because of the way it was built, which is 4 frames. So, and the Tekken crew, I've had conversations with them about this too, because they've always said, like, whenever they played on PS4, you know, it's always laggy to them. And I was like, well, what do you usually play on? Do you play on PS4 or do you play on PC? And they say PC. I'm like, there's no input delay on PC. There's native input delay on the PS4. That's why you're experiencing the delay. And if you're, you know, if you're wanting to mimic the two, you have to find a way to put some input delay on your PC. But Tekken doesn't have that option for PC where you can add input delay. Like the Arc System games, for example, they have the option of where you can add input delay to your inputs.
Okay, so welcome back, guys.
And that's important because the arcade version of a lot of Arc System games have native input delay.
Right.
So you'll find a lot of Japanese players, when they come over here and play in PS4 tournaments, they'll turn on the delay 1 or 2 frames to match the necessary gaps.
Some announcements, news, upcoming events like this. I know looking on Twitter, this is what a lot of people are here for, right?
The part you guys are
so
waiting for, right?
it's now announcement time.
So here
and you now see
Ozawa up here is taking place of Arc System.
Daisuke is gone, as well as Pachi.
Second from the left.
And it is Ozawa that's here too.
Oh,
he's got a Mori doll with him.
It looks like he's got the glasses and the leather jacket.
That's cool, man. I want a Mori doll.
So they're
cats. Okay, everybody shut up. It's Guilty
they're
Gear
calling
time.
them souvenirs, right?
It's not just Guilty Gear time. There's a lot of different things that's going to be taking
Did you
place
bring
here.
anything for people? So they're going to go one by one.
They're going in order.
They're going to, each developer is going to say if they have something or not.
Oh.
All right, so just so you guys maybe who are just tuning in now, we got Wada-san, producer on Sam's show, also KOF, I believe. The director, Kuroki-san, Uzawa-san just joining from Arc System Works. The legend himself, Nishitani-san from Arika. Mochie from Koei Tecmo Games, along with Shibori-san. You know, you guys probably pretty
Mori's a guest character now for Guilty Gear.
Nakayama-san and Matsumoto-san are two that we don't really see from Capcom, but they're the producer and the director. On the
Mori is in Guilty Gear. Harada is in BB Tag.
Who does all the sports stuff in Japan here.
Oh, boy.
And obviously Harada and Okubo, the two, I don't know what you call it. He's the chief producer on the whole Tekken franchise. You know, I'm the day-to-day producer. Okubo is producer on Soul Calibur 6. Gotta be in that good spot.
All right,
now.
so
Now Shimbori-san's gonna go first, I believe.
Yeah, Shimbori's speaking now, right?
I would love to see what a DOA 7 would be like.
Okay.
You know, that's a game I thought about
thank
revisiting was
everybody,
DOA.
right? Thank you,
I actually had
everybody.
fun with
Right
the
now.
time I played it.
DOA is actually a really solid series, and DOA 6 is actually quite a good game.
Yeah.
Got a lot of support. It lasted quite a while.
Even during this
So I'm
year.
curious to see what they would do with DOA 7.
Surprisingly, too, how long it lasted.
He's saying that
That community
it's
goes
doing
hard for
quite
that
well.
game. Very
They're like, why are you
dedicated.
talking
He
like
looks
that?
surprised, yeah.
Like, why is he's saying good news? It's like, why? I was like, why are you talking like that? Come on, man. So
He's
he's like,
saying he hasn't brought anything
Yeah.
huge today, but
So
they already have like a kind of free-to-play version with DOA 6, right?
Yeah,
I think
okay.
people already
Yeah,
know
this
this
is
way.
the- I think
So
this
this
is
is
the
3
core.
million downloads, right?
10,000, 100,000, 3
Yeah,
million
3 million
downloads. Dude, I've been here
DOA
10 years. I still
Wow.
can't do the numbers.
Dude,
3
3
million.
million
I've been doing so
downloads.
many budgets and stuff. I'm so used to the Japanese numbers.
So,
Now,
you guys
DOA is
interested in
interesting
getting
because
like
they're
they
one of the
mentioned cute
only
girls,
fighting
cute
games that
girls. You
has
can give it
a
try
free-to-play
for free,
version.
Right.
Right. They have the core
So-
fighters.
fighters,
I don't know what the
right,
terminology
where you
here.
get a rotating
the core
roster,
fighters version
get
is
training
on
mode, get
Xbox One
online
and
play,
Steam,
and all
but
that
then,
jazz.
free to play
and
is
you can
on
buy characters
PlayStation 4, it looks
individually.
like.
Probably just naming thing, but I think
So
it's
it's
the
an
same
interesting
thing.
model that they've kind of doubled
So
down
it's
on
like,
because they
even though
started that
it's
with
free to
DOA
play,
5.
you know, you get a full training mode and everything. You can practice.
So you get the base game for free, and then you kind of
If you
buy
enjoy
the
it,
characters that
yeah.
you
By the way,
play, right?
the character at the bottom right, Hitomi, that's the one I played.
Play with 4 characters
Of course
to
you do.
start.
Punch Girl.
But he's like, you know, give it a try, and then you can just support us.
Also,
if you don't want to buy the full game, but you want to support, you just some skins and
And
things
she's
like
cute
that.
too.
Oh, Hitomi is adorable.
Yes.
So you're saying that one of the merits, you can just download the game for free and purchase only the characters you're interested in, right?
You know, the pro players always talk about.
Yeah,
like,
and that's a very interesting model that they went with. You know,
you just want to go online with the character you like. Just buy
Killer
it.
Instinct was the same way too. It was
like
free to play, and then if you just wanted to play a certain character, you just bought that character, and that was it.
So you're saying that they
That's
have
what I
a
did.
variety of different players.
I
But
only
they
bought
want to expand the
Hisaka.
base even more, so check it out.
Even
I need
more.
to
So again,
show you
just
the
thank you.
Hisaka stuff I
Please
have.
come out.
I got a whole guide, man.
He seems very.
I have so
not
many links for
confident.
Hisako Tech that I have not used, but it's still
I'm just
saved.
thinking,
It's
SNK.
there.
Yeah. Thank
It's
you.
there
there.
whenever you get around to it.
SNK has the.
I've tried a
characters
couple
and stuff.
times, and I just
you
can't
guys
sit down long
sign.
enough.
So this is a summer sale going
One
on,
day.
I believe,
5th,
from the
right?
5th through the 18th. I believe there's Japanese times as well, right?
It's like 4
Okay.
days from now. Pretty big, right? 65%
right?
off there. Season pass 1, 2. They have 4
I
season
often
passes.
wondered. I was like, or I've been thinking to myself, I
30%
wonder
off,
if I
20,
want
10,
to
10,
buy this
65,
game on
65. So
PC.
yeah, if you are, you know, if you're
It's
already
pretty
a
good
Dead or
on
Alive
PC.
fan, you
I don't know
want
how
to go to a different platform or
the
something, like
online
now
community
time
is, though.
right
I don't
now.
know which
If you're
one
not
is.
sure,
Which one
you
they
know, get the,
gravitate on more?
The free
So,
version.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know
you
what that
mentioned that
community
Season Pass
gravitates
1 is the
towards.
one that
Yeah, 'cause there's
includes
no
Shiranui
crossplay
Mai
on
and the
it.
SNK characters,
Yeah,
right?
right.
It looks like Season
And
Pass 2
Harada
is
is
summer.
mentioning that Capcom doesn't get paid a cent when people play Goki in our game, or Akuma, but we let them use some what do you call it, patents.
Yeah.
Man, he's gonna say this stuff on stream, huh?
He just he's all out, huh?
Harada
Okay.
just
Dev secrets.
trolling.
Just to our corporate office, I didn't say that. I'm just translating what Harada's saying. So,
Michael Murray
So
trying
on
to
the
cover his
bottom right-
ass.
Season Pass 4.
Season Pass 4.
ちょっと出すことにしましたでここにね新キャラクター最新のキャラクターの玉木っていうキャラクター
So the latest character Tamaki is included.
Tamaki, yeah. I think that girl with the greenish hair.
She's quite popular, so he
Oh,
hopes to check
that's
her out.
right. That was the last character they revealed was Tamaki.
Yeah,
What? We got.
she's
he's
like a
got
crossover
some-
from the free-to-play
Can you
get
turn
rid
off
of
the
the
slide?
believe.
ちょっと今
What? He's gonna do a Harada thing?
見えるんかな
He's like, I wonder if you
you
can
see?
see this.
あ
I think that's
日本で
Tamaki.
今デッドライブ6
That's right, Cats. You've been on that character a bit too. I remember you
Version in Japan,
mentioned
right?
Yeah,
Tamaki.
hold it up.
I might try her. If I do get the game on PC, I might try her
Yeah,
out.
like, hold it up.
No idea, dude.
She cute.
Oh no.
Oh, cool. The way that blur works is pretty interesting.
That
right?
definitely was not
Oh
intentional.
my god.
Oh
Put
my
Hiraki
God.
in there.
Tamaki, yeah, I believe so. I believe so. And look down here, we got look at Harada.
I wonder who that is. That's the famous
Yeah,
Itagaki-san, right?
Itagaki-san.
Oh my
The old
God.
Team Ninja guy.
Wow.
Him and Harada got some rivalry, right?
Dude,
Some smack.
the developers are just like
they
us.
used
They're all
to.
trolls just like
Until
us.
Itagaki-san found out they were both from the same university.
Oh really?
And Itagaki-san is a senpai, which totally changes
oh,
the whole
really?
dynamic,
Oh, okay.
right?
Now Harada's got to
He's like,
apologize.
he used to be
Oh,
Harada-san. and now
that's
it's like,
funny.
oh, Harada. So,
1月5日からついに玉木デビューできそうです
So it looks like soon Tamaki will be in the arcade. You know, should be added to the arcade
今な
soon.
らアーケードでもお楽しみいただけます
There
so
is
he's saying
there was
that,
a date-
So the
there's a
people who are
DOA
waiting to
6
see
arcade
this
cap?
character in the arcade.
Yeah, in
it
Japan.
should be soon.
Oh, okay.
This definitely was not
Harada's
intentional.
like pulling this. What?
Yeah, so this is this is mainly a Japan discussion about the arcades. Arcades are closed for a good 2 months or so, but they're reopened now.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
reopened
that's
now.
good.
So there are
Well, it
interesting
depends on
that
where
they're
you are too,
reopened.
right? Like Tokyo or out in the countryside.
There are some people in Japan that
bad
are
any-
arcade only.
Too bad no
believe it or
one in the
not,
U.S.
right?
can go
Yeah,
over
it's
there
like
right now.
Master
so
Cup is in a
yeah.
we're all
sampling of that,
banned.
right?
Arcade only.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
banned from
play
everywhere.
console, so
Yeah.
Except
Sucks
Mexico.
That's our other boss.
We can go to Mexico.
Oh boy, yeah.
そうですね
Oh god, that's a different topic for another day.
見てください
Yeah.
Itsukasu is at the 5th. You
Yeah,
can go
so
to
from
the
Wednesday is when they're gonna
arcades and
update,
they
yeah.
can do it.
配信
Which
Well,
applies
that's
to any
cool.
you guys
So
in Japan, I
Tamaki
suppose,
hits
right?
the arcades in Japan on the 5th.
But if you go too early to the arcade, it might not be released yet.
Yeah, on Wednesday, right?
It takes time,
So
dude.
no
It's
DOA
so
7.
crazy now.
That's cool.
Upload everything. Yeah, yeah.
Again, that seemed like something that would
But it
be
will
more like
Wednesday, but that's it
a
for
Tokyo
Koei
Game
Tecmo.
Show, maybe.
So next is
Okay, so that's all that they had.
Who we got?
They just promoted the fact that their
all right.
game's on sale right
SNK
now.
going. Now I saw on Twitter there was a
Oh,
lot of
SNK.
questions. A lot of people want SNK news. Let's see what they got today.
Well, everyone knows the question, right?
Talk about the new character.
So he's got something to share with you guys.
Okay, yeah, this is a character that was just announced, right?
Cole
They just said,
Sonny,
yeah.
that's the Japanese read. I don't know what it is in English, right? Collaboration character, this new for Sam Spirits, Sam Show, you
Yeah.
call it in English, right?
Honor, I believe the game is called Honor of Kings.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Did,
You know, it's interesting that Samurai Showdown's kind of taking that approach now too, right? With the crossover.
Like, man, you sounded like a native
Yeah,
Japanese speaker.
they
Like,
have
you
a
see-
whole
Like, obviously,
getting good
the
at
big
it.
one with Hamuro
you have to like get
joining
the pronunciation
Soul Calibur, right?
going.
But now
free. She's
themselves, they're
free, so
adding
you
guest
guys-
characters
I'm
into
sure if
their
you're a
game.
Sam Show
Obviously,
fan,
the
you probably
Warden
already are
from
aware of
For
this, but you
Honor,
just download and play
which
from
was
the 6th
one
there.
that was completely out of left
The next
field.
slide.
Yeah, that was
So
out
that
left field.
leaves,
Yeah, and then this one.
Season Pass 3.
Yeah, this is good.
Oh, okay. So
Development,
season pass, yeah,
three.
season pass
It's
3
decided.
is coming.
Yeah.
Right? So they've announced. I
It's
don't
a
think-
go. It's a
yeah.
go, yep. This is the first time they're announcing that,
Yep.
right?
Yep. So
Okay,
season
so this is
2
a big
came out,
announcement
you
that there is a
bought
season
characters,
3 coming for
but
Samurai
they're still going,
Showdowns.
so Samurai Spirits is still going.
Showdown,
I don't-
excuse me.
In the
I don't know what other character
so
I
now
want.
it's time for you guys to
I have all the characters
go on
I like.
Twitter and then spam
So
them
I'm
with
good.
whatever DLC character you want.
Who else could they
You're
add?
just saying that they're not going to touch
I
on the
don't know.
details today.
I
but
don't know
please look forward to
the history of Sam Show, to be honest, so
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot of the characters outside of like the main ones.
All right, so they're just saying there's a season 3 pass that's coming. They aren't making any. They aren't making any announcements as far as characters go
And
or
he's just talking
anything.
about the pace
But there
of
is going to be a
development
season
is
pass
quite
3 for
fast.
Samurai
The new
Showdown.
character
Yeah, they
being
had Warden,
announced, and
so-
then now season pass 3.
See,
June. So
in
June,
TGS in a
June
couple
they put in
months,
Warden, the new
we'll see
character,
what they
and now
got.
you have the new.
What are the
Honor King's
exact dates
character,
for
and now you have
TGS?
season 3. So they're like.
I haven't
getting
seen
a
what they're
lot of-
doing with the online version. Usually it's like mid-September.
Okay.
I can tell you in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's just really surprised at the pace of the development there, right?
Dude, they have put a lot of time into Samurai Showdown 3 or Samurai
Are we
Showdown
saying,
in general.
These two
They
are
have. They're
actually
doing an
streamed
amazing
from
job with that
SNK
game.
office
Yeah, you see in the background.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
And
No
Harada-
KOF
we're at the home.
news.
He's like, we're at home, man.
And they made them wear the Neo Geo T-shirts too, probably, right? He's saying your company's pretty pretty.
So it's going to be September 23rd to 27th.
A black
23rd to
company.
27th.
Yeah,
It's
Okay.
like it's they overwork
Different
their
connotation in
employees, right? They
Japan,
overwork
yeah.
their employees, so it's like, man, you guys need to loosen up over there. Uh-oh.
So this is the MC
Yeah, he's
asking
got a
question, right?
question.
Sam Show,
Okay.
but there's another franchise that everyone
Don't
knows.
do
Like,
it.
Don't do it. What?
I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not saying anything until they say it.
Yeah.
Are they going
He's
to do
asking,
it?
is there anything you can touch on for
Yeah,
that?
it's like there's another game, there's another series.
Oda's looking for the sword
Yeah,
under the
yeah.
desk, right? He's like, I'm gonna
He's
get
like-
this dude.
Oh my gosh.
There's another series.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
And he's
he-
saying that not from an MC perspective, but from a fanboy.
Yeah, Fui is a fighting game player.
Yeah, I don't think this was on script either, right?
Uh-oh, they're going off
so it
script
was
a little
last year
bit.
At Evo, 1 year ago is when they announced.
Which in
He
wrestling,
said
that's a
that
bad
thing
thing
is,
if you go off
development
script.
on floor bumping.
They still didn't say the name. I don't want to say the name if they're not
Me
going to say the
neither.
name.
But they didn't have
Sounds like they got
anything
something
in time
coming
to
really
show
soon,
for
but
this timing. But they
can't
have
show it
something they're
today.
considering
So in other words,
soon.
Tokyo Game Show,
Just didn't
probably
make
like
it,
you're mentioning.
for this
Yeah.
this stream.
TGS 2
Whatever
months
game that
away.
is, I have no idea what they were talking about. But
Thank you very
yeah,
much
Yep,
for that.
so
unfortunately,
no
they couldn't
KOF news
show
this
any
time
new
around.
news today, but they
But
said
supposedly
very soon in a little bit
in the
they wanna
near
show you.
future.
Hey, Harada's now just asking for geese permanently in Tekken.
Can I just add?
Harada's like, can I keep
Oda-san
geese?
said, okay, I'll try to get a higher position.
I
in the company
mean,
and try to make that happen.
He's kind of got a point, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll do anything I
hey,
can
he's
to
part of
help.
Tekken lore now.
Oda-san's a super
He
cool.
is.
All right, next.
Next maker, publisher. Who we got? Capcom-san.
Okay.
Capcom's next.
We got Matsumoto-san here.
So I wonder if they're doing this in a
Who is the
particular
producer,
order.
About Street Fighter 5. He wants to touch on
Yeah.
some things.
So they just announced. I mean, they might talk about it here, but we'll see.
So next slide,
Right.
please.
Okay.
Again, it's the fifth
Okay, so
year
it's,
of,
it's going to be on
operations.
sale soon.
This is
Starting
this has
on
been
the
going
4th.
on, right? So this sale is already on the summer
Until the
sale.
4th,
yeah,
right?
until the 4th.
Oh, okay,
so if
it's
you
on
want it
sale
now
till
is
the
the time.
4th.
25% off. This is a champion edition too, so it comes. This is kind of like the complete version now.
With the stages
yeah,
and costumes.
Look, 40
yeah.
characters, 200 costumes, 34 stages, 27.
150 of those
pretty
costumes
good deal
belong
right
to
there.
Chun-Li, by the way.
So until the 4th, right? So please, if you guys are
Hurry if
interested,
you, have,
hurry
if you don't
up.
have
yeah.
it already, yeah.
And as a Chun main, I'm okay with that.
Oh my
So
God.
this says a demo
Yeah.
version, right?
More costumes for more people,
I think
please.
this was announced before too, but from the 5th, they're gonna same thing we saw with Koei Tecmo. It's a free-to-play version right here. So
Wow.
a demo version with all 40 characters, right? That's kind of crazy.
Wow. That's
So he's
interesting.
like, if you're interested in Street Fighter but you've never tried it before, you can just try. You can touch the game, feel if you like it or not, for free, starting on the 5th.
Wow.
Harada's like, this is crazy, but
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
was wondering this.
Yeah.
Is there a end date to it? What do you say?
he's like, there
There
is,
is.
but
About 2 weeks.
that's still really good.
Yeah.
2 weeks
That's
free to
still
play
good.
Street Fighter 5.
You get
with the
2
whole
weeks
pass.
to mess around with SF5 and get a feel for it, and then
That's crazy too. Even if you
purchase
have
if
the
you
game
want it.
already, but you know
Yeah,
you
that's
didn't
not
get
bad
the
at all.
DLC.
I
wanna
mean,
try
you get
characters,
access
see if
to
you
all
like them,
the
like, now's a
entire
great time.
roster,
You can,
too.
You can get involved.
Yeah, dude. Or if you want a friend to pick it up, that's a really easy way for them to do that.
放送見てる人で先ほど冒頭でおっしゃられたストリートファイターってどんなゲームかなって思ってる人はいないと思います。
So Harada's just saying, well, I don't think there's anyone out there that's
that doesn't
wondering
know.
what is Street Fighter, right?
I don't know. It's only been around for what 30 plus years or something.
火を吹いて腕が伸びるインドの。
He's like, there's a
Nakamura-san's explanation is the guy who
he's like,
breathes
there's a
fire
guy
and
with
has stretchy arms, right?
and breathes fire from India. He should give the game a try.
Oh, jeez.
Pretty cool.
That
Wow.
is still pretty cool, though.
So said there might be someone like that somewhere.
Maybe in
Not
the,
Dawson,
in
but
the game.
you know that doesn't know about Street Fighter.
And there's another slide here.
で次は、e スポーツ関連の情報
It's about esports info.
来ました。
Look at that
So
goofy
this is
smile on
the,
Gil.
This weekend.
Man,
And,
This
and
is in,
Seth.
what, Central
They
America,
both have
Latin America. It's
goofy
happening.
smiles
Yes.
going right
Last
now.
week they're saying, Daigo won online.
there's a lot of power
Like
between those
Tuesdays,
smiles.
So,
Yes, they are.
This week they're doing it. They're going to
Central
stream
America,
it.
right?
Where's the stream right here? Yeah, they're going to stream it on Capcom Fighters JP channel. Again, this is for the Japanese audience. You guys watching right now, English stream, I believe, is just on Capcom Fighters there. But this weekend's another tournament.
So he's touching on this, and we saw it with Daigo, right?
Yep.
Is that if you win it, you get a place in the finals, right?
Yeah, different from the point system
Yeah.
before. Now it's just winner qualifies.
And this is like, you know, I don't think there's a whole lot of the tournaments in Central America, right? So he's saying this is an excellent chance. And,
They have a really strong scene out there. Yeah. See.
and he's touching on the players from Mexico, maybe.
I guess I
Dominican
never really
Republic,
Yeah.
followed
some
up
people that
on the
maybe you don't
rules
see
of like
quite
how they're
often
doing this or
are,
anything. But how
quite
are they going to
strong,
get
so
all these
good
worldwide
opportunity to check that
qualifiers
out.
to play
Yeah,
in the
so everyone please
final
watch.
This
showcase,
feels
so to
weird,
speak?
me like being PR for Capcom, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Complicated.
But we're all in the
I
same
don't know what they're
boat
doing.
here, right?
Because if they're trying to do online, oh
SFL.
boy.
Okay. And this
That's
is,
not
again,
gonna
another-
work.
this is
I
mainly
thought
only
what they
for
were
Japan, so
doing
sorry,
was just a
guys,
regional
overseas.
thing.
But if you're a fan, you can
Right.
still watch it on
Are they
the
actually
JP
trying?
channel. I don't
Excuse
know
me.
if it's gonna
Are they
happen
actually
with
trying to
streaming.
do like a final showdown? Because I thought they were
I
just
don't.
gonna do like.
That's what I was
the-
asking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but they
The
said
Street Fighter League
Daigo
in Japan is
qualified,
really
and now they're doing another
developed.
regional that's in
They-
Central America.
They do all sorts of qualifications, all sorts of different tournaments right now. So
Yeah, I
this is
don't
a preseason
know.
open.
I have to look at
qualifier.
that.
So
I'll have to look that up and
win the
see
qualifiers,
how they're
and
doing all
qualify
that.
Stage 2. There's like 5 or 6 stages. It's pretty
Street
wild.
Fighter League.
But there will be a stream
SFLs
happening next weekend.
are pretty popular
So again,
watches
if you want more,
Wow, they got
under
some
22.
interesting rules though. Yeah, under 22, it's open. And he was even mentioned that.
Unless
there's
they're
even
really
some,
banking on
Japanese
travel
talent,
being
I
a
think,
thing at
that
the end
take
of the
place.
year.
People who
Maybe,
are known to
but
play the game.
That's been
know.
really big.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
for,
interesting.
Street Fighter out
So
here, is that they get a
for
lot
this
of,
league, they put an age limit on it. So it's under the age of 22.
Stuff like that.
And this is a 3-on-3 format. I think he was
I missed that
mentioning
part.
earlier, right?
I just heard Michael Murray bring that up.
Next slide.
I think this
so
is
young league.
Summer update.
So this is I know
like
a lot
it.
of people were expecting
Today,
I saw
right?
there
No
they wanted
Daigo
announcements
allowed.
and things, but Capcom has its own
Yeah,
show,
so this
its
is
own
their summer
announcement
update
where
show that they're going to be
give
doing.
reveals. They already
Now
said
it's
they're going to show new characters, the new season.
the
So that's
6th
gonna
for
be next
Japan,
week.
but for
They actually
us,
have
that
Kenny
is
Omega.
actually
Kenny
Oh, I
Omega's
didn't know
gonna
Kenny
gonna
was
be
doing
the
that.
5th.
hosting that. So again, sorry if
Yeah,
you are
that's going to be
watching
2
today,
p.m.
doing
on the
one more
5th.
week, just one more week, and this is going to be their
2 p.m.
official
Eastern?
update there.
Now, obviously, this.
Okay,
2
cool. I'll
a.m.
actually
is
be
for
able to stream
Japan,
that
Yeah, it's
I
going
would
to be in
think.
prime
So,
time.
because I don't go into
Prime
work
time for,
till
the
like
dudes out
5.
in the West there.
August 5th,
But
2
they're
p.m.
showing a
East.
lot.
Gotcha.
It's a
Okay.
special
I'll be
guest,
able to
but
stream
They
a little
already
bit
got
then.
announced. It's Kenny.
I hope you're not like.
Hey, I was on Twitter. Unless Kenny deleted it, I don't know. It was on Twitter. I saw the tweet.
Oh, okay, there you go. Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
So Matsumoto-san said it.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
bringing
they
in a
already
lot
said it,
of
they
special
already
guests for that event too and everything.
You're saved. You're,
He's like, you didn't update.
you're not gonna get canceled.
I was like, you
Should
didn't
be an
update the slide. What's
interesting
going on?
presentation.
But Kenny, of course, big Street Fighter fan, so he's a player. So it's a good match there.
First character in the SF5 Season 5 pass, Kenny Omega.
That would be hilarious.
Oko mentioned that we have a line group of all the publishers that we use to coordinate this. And Shimbori-san's icon was Kenny Omega. I didn't know that.
From Koei Tecmo.
Wow. Okay.
Where's Kenny? Kenny, you got to get a guest character in Dead or Alive.
I wonder how that'll turn out. That'll be interesting.
It's a grab heavy game. But yeah, again,
For Japan,
please
2 a.m.,
don't
right?
get angry. Please don't go crazy. Just one more week. One more week.
Relax.
This has been planned for a while, so they can't just be like, all right, let's just show everything
Scrap
today.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they already had that
It
plan,
looks like they're going to
that
give a lot
makes
of
sense.
details too, so
Yeah.
look forward to that.
And you just mentioned to the Japanese people that they're going to do an archive in case you can't tune at 2 a.m. So Harada's
Re-air
saying
at
he's
the
up,
archive.
so
That
no
makes
problem.
sense. Well, keep in mind too, the Street Fighter name is actually a
when they do
Capcom
these
North
reveals, they've been just
America
showing everything.
own
They've been,
title.
Like, the whole season. These are all
Yes.
the characters coming out.
At one lump,
yeah,
you
they
mean?
usually
Which
give
is
a lot
it's
of
a weird,
details at the same time.
weird dynamic they have.
Very weird
Street
dynamic.
Fighter fans, Street Fighter players.
Yeah.
This is
Very
should
weird
be very
dynamic. But
exciting.
no, Capcom
I'm glad,
North
man.
America
the more fighting
owns
games they're doing
the
well,
Street Fighter
you know,
name.
the best for the scene. So.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know.
絶対今頃リークしてこれ油断できないですよ。あと
He's saying that you sure it's not going to leak, as
Yeah.
stuff often does.
It's happened a lot.
Harada with his trolling
Harada with
comments
the
again.
leak. Is it going to
Well, you
leak?
know, we're pretty close with
Yeah.
Ono-san, and we would often be in LA for a show or some
Because
kind of
remember,
sports event
there was
where
no
we're all on
leak
Twitter making
ever
sure
for
nothing
Harada.
leaks.
No
And
leak.
Ono-san was always the first one to be like,
No. Yesterday, so we had rehearsal yesterday, guys, and they showed some of the reveals. So I haven't seen any leaks. The reveals you're gonna see are world first.
people don't see that, man. Me and Harada,
You
we're
work hard, I
like
guess, hiding everything, right?
at home getting yelled at by our wives because we're looking at our phones, but it's not like we're just scrolling
Yeah,
through
yeah.
stuff. It's like, please don't leak
Please don't
stuff.
leak. Please don't leak. Please don't leak.
All right, so yeah,
Alright, so yeah,
so
Capcom
yeah,
fans, 1
that's
week,
some good
just
stuff
hang in there,
though.
guys. You get
I
all your
like
information
I
on
like
the
what they're
6th.
doing with that 2-week free to play.
Who's up next?
That's honestly a
We
really
got-
smart
We
thing.
still have Ariko-san.
Oh yeah.
Us.
I feel like that's something they should do
Arcus
probably
as well.
after like every major
Arcus-san
update or
next,
something like
probably,
that.
Nishita-san, here we
Just get like
go.
a 1 or 2 week free trial. Just try the game out, man.
Yeah.
They've been
Okay, so
doing,
here we are, Nishitani for
kinda changing
Erika.
things. They've
So
been making a beta, but they also been making
Vexel.
a new game. I wonder.
Let's see what they do.
Fighting X Slayer he's touching on. 2 years from
Yep.
release.
gosh, that game's been out for 2 years now.
Yes,
Towards the
sir.
end, they haven't
Wow.
changed much.
Yeah, they didn't really update the
Recently-
game.
They're doing beta tests and online tests.
It's a big change too. If you guys haven't been following along, they've really kind of revamped the entire game engine. And PlayStation on Steam, you can kind of download and try it, so it's super fresh, right? If you played it on release and then you try this new beta, it's like a completely different game. So give it a try. Then they're also, I don't know if we can say, but they've been working on different.
He's trying to find a way to word it the best he can.
Yeah.
When this thing is over, they're going to show something new. But they've also been working on the online connectivity, is what I will say.
That's what he was touching on, right? He said that he thinks it feels pretty good.
Yeah,
so
they've been pushing rollback, right? So they've been sponsored by by the West. So
if the beta, if the game is going to be different with that, because I know one thing you mentioned was the one thing you kind of felt a little janky, a little off to you in that regard.
So
maybe the beta is worth trying out right now, especially if it's a free beta to try.
Yeah, I'm always down to check something back out.
Same with me. Like even with like Street Fighter V, like not meshing with me the way I would have liked anything, I still keep my eye on it every once in a while to see what's new with it, and kind of here and there go back to it just to see how things are.
Yeah, that's how I am. Even if I don't like a fighting game too much, if there's like a major update or change, I go back and try it out because you never know. They might change one thing, and then all of a sudden it's feels great to me.
Yep.
So it's important that you can select the skins, but it's a feature specific to the Steam version at the moment.
It's a feature.
He's hinting that there's some stuff that are coming. So
like that's a new thing we keep saying now. Like anytime something weird happens or something like that in the game, we're like, hey, it's a feature.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. Your own, right? Harada figured out. I didn't figure out. Maybe they're going to add more skins. I don't know. More guest characters. Who knows? Because right now there's no skins.
This is true. They don't have like different costume palettes in Fexel.
They don't. That game is very much created by a very small team with a small budget.
So if you want to know more info, that's the guy to follow.
Yeah. Mihara-san he tweets in English too a little bit as well.
He's saying that they're testing. Oh, he's talking about it, huh? Cross-play. They've been testing out a bit.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
The team's not that big. Yeah.
That's the thing about Eureka is their team is very, very small. It's a very small company, but I think that gives them freedom to kind of try out more stuff.
This is true.
They're trying to implement rollback. They're trying to implement cross-play in their games and stuff. They're trying to listen to the fans and put everything in.
It's not as many layers that you would go through,
also,
say, like a bigger company and everything.
Is 75% off, so
it's really just like, hey guys, you want to do it? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's give it a try. Let's see what happens.
$10.
Wow, it's 75% off right now.
Support them out.
So that's what, like $10?
This man right here, without Nishitani, there probably wouldn't be this conference right now, right?
I mean, it's a pretty good value.
The creator,
so I think that game already was like $30 or something.
Just three days from now.
A lot of fighting stuff going on, huh?
Summer sale.
And please buy Dead or Alive as well.
They did. So SNK has a collab character, and Terry Bogard is a collab character in there. So it's like, hey, let's get some collab characters with Dead or Alive. Let's put some of them in there.
Oh gosh, can you imagine Dead or Alive characters in Fexel? Jesus.
Capcom-san
oh boy.
Street Fighter V demo as well until about that time. And we also have sales on our games going on as well, so please check those out if you haven't bought it yet. Both Soul Calibur and Tekken.
All right, I think maybe the Twitter monsters and the stream monsters, right? Been like, come on, you hyped up big announcements. Like, what's going on? I think.
Please wait. Please wait. So now we have two left, right? Bandai Namco and Arc System Works.
All right, here
so
we are.
40 isn't a bird in this instance. It means like the last spot on a presentation. So we're going first, and Arc is going to go last. It's kind of prestigious.
So
you got some
the Guilty Gear reveal is going to be a little bit longer.
European office is the publisher for their game, for Strive. So.
I totally forgot about that. That Bandai Namco's being the European publisher for Strive.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Just said that
ArcSys doesn't have a European office, if I remember right.
Bandai Namco first.
So we're going first.
Right.
They always pair it off with
stuff. So we'll see
a couple of other companies out there. I think P-Cube was one of them.
Yeah. Now they have you know, now they have a Arc System Japan office and an Arc System USA office now
first off,
too.
he's mentioned, and
Yeah,
you
that's
probably saw the
relatively
footage
new.
during the
Yeah.
interview, but
That went up in
PlayStation's
like
doing
the
their
last
tournament feature for Soul Calibur
2
as
years
well.
or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 2
And,
years
Sony
ago.
Yeah,
maybe
it's relatively
3.
That footage.
Relatively
Asia as
new.
well, so Bandai Namco for like
It was
Malaysia
only Harumaru.
and Thailand of those cats, they
Pretty
publish
much.
for Arc Systems there. That's interesting.
So maybe Oda-san
Uh-oh,
and
Harada bolted.
Kuroki-san will be
Oh,
happy
no.
with that. We're very glad that you proved it so quickly. Thank you very much.
Pokubo up first, so some Soul Calibur stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be the
That's
case.
not even a Soul Calibur character. Like, come on, man.
I swear to God, if Harada's changing into like a Kiryu suit or something like that,
He wouldn't have to do much.
he
That
just
man's
throws,
always a
Just saying,
just throws on
it
a
wasn't,
a
topic,
Yakuza
but
outfit.
because of the COVID
Yeah.
situation. The season
I'll be
pass
honest, I will be
development was
very.
obviously
I
impacted.
don't think they're gonna announce
There's
that,
some
but
hard
I would be
things
very
to
hype if
mention,
Kiryu
but-
did get announced.
And also,
Yeah.
like for example, you know, when we develop our games, we have our battle team balance test it right.
Yeah.
And you have to actually be in the same room for that kind of things. And
It's not just balancing too,
hard.
like, you know, like betas and having players out there. You can't do that in this landscape. But they said finally they're going
We
to
have
be able
something
to
to
announce
show.
something.
All right.
check it out. Here we
All right,
go.
so here we
I
are.
need to play more Soul Calibur.
I got it on PC now, thanks to you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you for that. I need to try out 2B.
Hey, I need to learn 2B. She's a good character now.
Yes.
I mean, she's always been good, but now she's stronger.
Yeah, a lot stronger now. All right, so what are we announcing? Oh, Setsuka. Gotta be Setsuka.
When I closed my eyes, I was prepared.
Damn, it's like
to
that?
sleep for eternity.
I have no idea what her storyline was.
Yep.
Oh, she looks great.
You murdered my master.
I've never been like a Setsuka fan, but I can be changed.
Yep, there she is. So
For that,
Setsuka's
I
coming
shall
to Soul
have your
Calibur.
head.
She looks cool.
Yeah, I like her outfit a lot.
Yeah.
Was she always blonde? I could have sworn she was a bit
No, no, I don't remember her being blonde.
I did not teach you my techniques for revenge. Even your eyes disgust me, daughter of savages.
Oh shit.
Do not belittle yourself, no matter how others may see you.
Yeah, her hair is great, Kat.
Yeah, she's actually really cool design.
Kokonoe's very soul.
Well, I'm a Setsuka player.
Yeah, we were just talking about 2B, but now it's Setsuka.
Flower petals.
Yep. I like that stage too.
Yeah. Oh wow.
This is the work of fate. I merely played my part.
Damn. Right, her ults, I remember, were blonde. Correct.
Oh, that's soon.
Strike you down and keep moving forward.
Oh. I know that guard.
File adjustments.
Oh wow. That's very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Enhanced update. Up to some balance changes. Yep. Balance changes for the characters. That makes sense.
Setsuka gets her classic costume back.
Yep. That's her classic alt costume. Yep.
It seems I must also.
I guess they
trust.
redesigned her to be blonde for sure. Which nothing's wrong with that. Classic costume and new stage. Nice.
Oh, they're adding Tekken costumes. That's fun.
That is kind of cool.
All right.
You know, Soul Calibur's always been a game I thought about trying to get back into. I might do it. Yeah, they got the Tekken outfits. DLC Tekken character creation set. That is cool.
I love Soul Calibur 6. It's a great game. I just don't play it.
Well, now, like I said, now that I got it on PC and stuff like that, and we have a really strong Soul Calibur player in our scene with, you know, Geralt's Bathwater.
Yeah.
Patricia.
In Florida in general,
Yeah, Florida in general is a very strong Soul Calibur scene.
Yeah,
incredibly strong.
So
they meet up every Monday, I think it is, and they do net play lobbies. They have weekly online tournaments. They're very active.
Like every day, like 40 messages.
Yeah,
put in Setsuka, give me Setsuka, where's Setsuka?
Yep, so Setsuka, there it is. The first big reveal, Setsuka in Soul Calibur.
New stage, the Tekken
character,
the Tekken is awesome, man. That look really sick. And that's all
That's
free,
early.
right?
She's coming out on
I believe the
Monday.
Tekken costumes are part of the DLC.
Yeah.
So there's two. There's DLC 11 and 12. 11 being the character and 12 being the customization items. So
the stage and the update, so the balance patch is coming out in what? 3 days?
Yep.
That's all going to be free, so you guys get the stage and everything. Let's see.
He's saying that a lot of people, you can destroy the costume, but some people don't like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the character creation in Soul Calibur is very, very detailed and very, very advanced. So they're going to add an option now that your clothes can't get.
I don't know if they're going to have it or not. He's just touching on it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. It is going to be in there somewhere.
They're going to put in a option to protect your clothes from getting blown off, so you can keep your custom.
That is interesting. I kind of I personally like that element of armor getting destroyed and stuff like that and everything, but I can understand like if there's people that don't like that aspect.
Yeah, I actually hate it.
Yeah,
I do, because I like the character customization, and I like the outfits and stuff. But when you do the created character, your stuff breaks so easily, and then your character just naked, and then like, well,
yeah, for X character, you can go overboard. It is possible to go overboard, right?
まあかなりやり込みに応えてくれるキャラクターではありますけれども
Lethal Hit given Patricia saying Lethal Hit was given to Nightmare's drop kick. Finally a reason to play Nightmare.
But we've also balanced it so that people who are more new to the game can still enjoy her.
Not everyone played the game for
10
years.
I was thinking about doing the RCB Learns episode of Persona 4 Ultimax on Monday. I may change that and do Soul Calibur. On PC.
On the 4th, right? So
I might change
that. There's a sale, and then from the 4th,
and I'll buy Setsuka as well, because Setsuka is definitely a character I'd be intrigued in playing.
There
you go, that'll be fun.
He hasn't come back.
Where is Harada?
He is gone.
He bounced.
There's nothing to talk about Tekken, huh?
I'm gonna have to do it instead, right?
I mean, Okubo he used to work on Tekken 7, right? Before he moved to Soul Calibur. His name's in the credits for something.
Dude, he's been gone for a minute.
He was kind of
he's doing something.
Producer on Japan side.
You'll see.
Let's call Harada. Hey.
Email Harada.
Oh. Okay.
Well then.
いかがお過ごしでしょうか。もう何かとテレワーク、リモートワークですか。
This video is good.
Oh no.
オルター返すとか。改めましてご無沙汰しております鉄拳プロジェクトの原田です。何かとね、このテレワーク、リモートワーク大変ですね。皆さんもこういうのには慣れましたでしょうか。今日はね。あえてこんな感じで、撮影しておりますけども、いろいろ生活習慣変わる中で、我々鉄拳プロジェクトもですね、いろいろもちろん、大変な思いは、
I have this feeling I'm either going to be incredibly happy or incredibly disappointed right now
楽しんでいただこう
with
と
this build
ア
up.
ップデートをしたいなというふうにはもちろん思って頑張って
This can go so many ways.
This really can.
状況ですので、なかなか持ってくる情報も
And I don't know why this OST sounds familiar.
なっちゃうんですけども、ただこんな最中なんで、鉄拳プロジェクトも頑張っていろいろみんなやってるぞっていう現状報告をしようと思って、こういう形で、配信させていただいております。
Online update?
もう鉄拳もですね、もうだから5
That's
年前のタイトルですよね。
That's going to make a lot of Tekken players
この時
happy.
代なので、できるだけですね、オンライン機能を中心にしっかりもう再構築ですから、して、
Okay.
できるだけ快
So
適
we're
に遊べ
looking
るように
at an online update, netcode update, sounds like?
はい、
That's big.
続き
That's big news.
鉄拳をよろしくお願いい
If
た
that
します。
happens, I'll play more Tekken.
そんなことでは許されませんよね。はい。分かってます。ちょっと頑張りました。鉄拳プロジェクト。もちろん今回も情報用意しております。というわけで、死の号の言わずに見てもらいましょう。皆さん準備はいいですか？それでは。 VTR スタート。
All right. What do we got? What do we got? Is this season 4 now for Tekken?
It would be like 5, I think.
4 or 5?
Ready?
Keep your head
It
up.
would be 4 if it comes. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be 4. Okay, gotcha.
4.
Hey, Moyasu, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
New move.
Moyasu, part of the local Tekken community here.
Ah.
Update, better balance, new moves for all characters. Okay, so once again, new stuff coming to them. I like how they add that little by little, you know what I mean? Because like it freshens the characters. Better on they're showing now who's on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
They're now showing who's on Wi-Fi and who's hardline.
Better online experience. I wonder if they'll do anything deeper with that though. We'll see.
There's always light after every darkness. What? Season Pass 4 coming fall 2020.
何かと、はいはいはい、わかりました。はい。はいはい。じゃあこれで撮影しようか。
There's a doggo.
You're
Some people
cute little dog there. So there we go, season 4.
All right, so they just announced that the
has
season
been
4 pass is
announced, so
coming.
I didn't get to see that
They
yesterday.
didn't announce.
That was my first time
we
seeing
didn't-
that. So
we
nice.
didn't
I
play
saw Paul's
it.
got a new
We
move
didn't play
there.
it.
Another shoulder tackle here. We saw a little bit of a surprise there at the end. So you obviously know who that is. I have no idea who it is. Chat, you guys can,
Yeah,
can
who
try and
was?
guess there.
I'm kind of curious who that was at the end
So
there.
Red is touching.
Yeah.
It's 5 years from the release, but that's the arcade, right? 3 years for the release of the arcade, the console version.
5
We
million,
said
right?
5 million recently. We're saying we're almost to 6.
Damn.
He's just gonna go out and say that, right?
He's bragging about
Oh,
numbers,
So
right? He
much
said
for
it
our
so
right
marketing
there.
there's
plans,
people
right?
are, that are
Jeez, come on.
speculating
6 million, man.
that it might have been Kunimitsu that they showed off at the end there.
Saying 80% is download? Nah, it's more like
That's what
10.
Moyasu just said, yeah.
I usually download my games there.
Are there any more legacy characters in Tekken to return? Oh yeah, there's a ton of legacy
So
characters.
since the game is
that they can
Tekken
bring
has
back.
being supported,
deep
right? We still want
roster.
to do it on our
Deep,
side as
So
well.
very
keep buying
deep
the game,
roster.
just playing the game, supporting the game. They're going to keep building it up.
Kunimitsu, popular. She was pretty popular.
So
There's a
Red is
lot of
kinda
legacy
weird 'cause
characters they
he's
could
like
choose.
here, but then he's looking like he's on the
Back in the
stream,
video
but
because
yeah,
he's got the
it's
same
weird.
thing. Yeah.
But he's just gonna touch on some of the
Yeah.
points in case you missed
I
it.
want to see what the online experience, what he was talking
June,
about.
oh gosh,
He's talking
cats.
about the
Yes,
Wi-Fi.
yes.
So did you guys
Dude,
notice
don't
that,
tease
right?
me on
That's
June,
me.
man.
I told them to do
If
this.
June
I
ever
told
made
them to do it.
a proper
Busted,
return
you
to the
guys are
Tekken
busted
series,
now.
I'd
You
be
can't
playing
hide.
Tekken every
So
day.
for you guys asked for that.
June is
there
like
you
my
go.
favorite Tekken character of all time.
Can you filter those? The question.
So we're just saying that we did notice that it's 50% Wi-Fi players.
users, yeah.
Oh wow.
PC is saying that what do you call it? The
Yeah,
landline
you pretty much
is
PC
more
is going to
common
be
because
it's connected directly.
yeah.
Wow.
It's something that people have been asking for a long time.
So
to be able to see that
50%
before you
of
accept the
Tekken's
match, right?
player base, according to their research, is Wi-Fi.
So we had that.
What was the
Let's
percentage?
talk about the online
50.
play.
Wow. That makes sense.
Wow.
Because of just the current
Doesn't
circumstances,
that
people have
put
been
things in
asking for
perspective?
improvement in the online experience,
Everyone's
right?
stuck at home, right? Yeah.
50% of
Rollback.
Tekken's
He said
online
that.
player
He's
base is Wi-Fi.
He just said we already had rollback, but the variable frame adjust the rate. There's games that do it to 6, or Tekken was only set at 3 before.
yeah.
Oh, so okay, he just said there
So there's
they
various
are
ways to
using
do
a
it, right?
rollback, but they changed the variable from being frame 3 to now frame
So everyone says, "Oh, you
6.
just open
So
up
now
6."
the
Okay.
rollback is 6
You're
frames
fine.
instead of 3 frames.
We're saying
Oh,
that,
okay.
for 3D, the way that the animations are created are so much different than 2D games.
Right. I mean, that a lot of that makes sense.
That the animation
when
it
rolls
rolls back is a lot
yeah.
more visible.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite different than for 3D and 2D. And so the way you have the key buffers or the way you create the animation, a lot of the stuff you have to do is so much more intense than just,
Yes, Moyasu, I have played online for Tekken. Yes, you are right.
But he's saying we've been doing some, we did some betas, like closed, or not closed, but what do you say, internally. And the results are pretty good at the moment. The response is improved. Also, the ranking is something that we're changing a bit.
Yeah, they mentioned it before when they were talking about matching and stuff, right? We saw the Tekken
We should have been in the
points.
trailer said the Tekken prowess.
That's interesting.
Tekken skill level.
Redoing
and
the
so
ranking
that's going to be
system.
implemented as well, and the ranks is going to be a little bit different. They're going to be reset to a certain degree, not like totally to 0. So yeah, we do, because of the current circumstances especially, are working hard to improve on that. So there's a lot of stuff that we're working on.
And then someone would have to
this
acknowledge
kind of,
the online
priority really got bumped up
aspect in this
because
environment.
of the whole COVID situation, right? So yeah, that stuff got brought forward. So he's saying that we really wanted to show more in depth, or we even wanted to actually have Season 4 ready already, but just the whole COVID situation.
Yeah, so the COVID delayed all their plans with
and that little
huh?
character tease at the end.
Who could it be?
What?
They got Harada cosplay on now.
What?
That's
no one
funny.
noticed.
No.
And everyone
no,
does
no,
for
pass,
commentators.
pass. Harada said, all the foreign commentators are wearing sunglasses. No, pass on that.
But he said his sunglasses are something that Capcom asked us for. True story, though.
That's funny. He's wearing the
Capcom USA told him to do
Capcom
it,
dude's
'cause he's
wearing
the bad
Harada's
guy.
sunglasses.
That was back during the Street Fighter
Really?
Cross Tekken stuff.
You have to wear the sunglasses.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
sunglasses
What
like
did-
the good
hold
guy,
on, I gotta read
and
Flo's
Harada's the
tweet.
bad
What did
guy,
Flo
But then everyone
tweet?
came to expect it, so
Yeah.
he has to play along, right?
It's pretty good. It's
One
pretty
more
strong.
from Yasuda from
Hold on,
Bandai
I gotta
Namco.
look at it.
It's
About
gonna be from
esports.
Yasuda-san, right?
What did he tweet?
So let's check out the slide. Online,
Oh,
challenge
online events coming soon. Tekken Online Challenge and Soul Calibur Online Challenge. That makes sense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man,
so
this hurts.
it was supposed to be
The
in
GWT was supposed to be going on.
There's no weekend.
Soul Calibur World
Why?
Tour as well.
Yeah, I just saw it. Yes.
And we had to postpone all
50%
that
of you
stuff,
are
right?
assholes.
50% of you
but
are assholes.
We know you guys are craving for content, so we're having an online event. And here's kind of the
That's
schedule, right?
great.
worldwide, nice.
It's divided
All
into
about to
regions,
get
so
exposed.
it's going to be
He's not wrong.
different. So the
He's
dates
not.
line up with different
He's
areas.
not
right?
wrong.
Yeah.
So Calibur has 3 of
50%
them.
of you are assholes.
Tekken has
It do be being true though, Nick.
10 in
It,
total.
do,
It
it
do
really
be
do.
Okay.
It really do
Starting
be true.
September 12th, so next
running
month.
through
pretty,
December 6th, right?
pretty soon here. This is like the usual kind of time schedule of each year.
So it's kind of like a 2-day format, right? On Saturday, we're going to
Oh
have the
god,
open
Jishi
three
Yoshi.
tournaments
I can only imagine
for
what
that
this is
specific
gonna
region,
say.
obviously, right?
Oh no, I gotta look at that too.
And then Sunday, you would have the exhibition matches with chosen players that people might want to see.
Oh, that's good logic. That's
Are
good
these
logic.
tournaments leading up
I
to
like
anything,
it. I
or
like
they're
it.
Each separate individual tournament.
At the moment, they're
Let's
just
see. I'm
separate.
trying to find it. I know I follow him.
Oh, Cat's linked it in the chat.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
going down. Invite me out here. Tekken 7 pre-event.
You know how everyone.
Sam Show gets
They
new
love
Umbrella character. Soul Calibur brings
Before that,
Umbrella
yeah, we had
character.
West.
Umbrella
All this
character
15
Anji
through
for
16,
Strive.
this is
I like
kind of
it.
a pre-event
I like that.
We'd already
If it
kinda
is
planned
Anji,
ahead of
I'd be
time,
very happy about that.
Just to give you guys something
Yeah,
cool to check
Umbrella
out.
characters are running the world right now.
Makes sense. It's in California. Of
Dingo,
course,
what'd you
gotta do
miss?
everything. California.
A whole lot of nothing really, but Tekken's getting a new season, an online
I wonder how
update.
restricted it's going to be on regions.
Sam Show is getting
Maybe like a
Setsuka,
minimum
not Sam
connection
Show,
check or something like
yeah.
that.
Soul
Those
Calibur
things
is
that,
getting Setsuka.
they're kind of
Wait,
fleshing out now.
Dingo,
and
you
we'll
are
be
you wanting to
releasing
end the
more details
Discord
on
call?
the page. I think that actually the rule set's going to be.
I don't
uploaded
think I have
today.
you as a friend on
Check
Discord,
out
man.
SMSGG,
Yeah,
you can
check
see
it
all
out.
the
It says
stuff.
it's live. So good in there. Again, U.S. West residents.
Love it.
Dude, DM me your DM me your
in Japan, and it said Japan only. Some guy was like, "Can I enter?" It's like,
your Discord
"What prefecture
name.
you from?" It's like New York. I'm from New York. I don't know that one. I can't find that one.
My heart is Japan, right?
I'll send you your friend request so you can join the call.
Oh.
And then yesterday just saying that
this might be the biggest mistake I ever make in my life.
Listen, man, I had that man on the podcast one time.
Yeah,
I totally don't regret it. It was great.
Oh no, I mean yes,
so
he's
for information on the events we were just talking about, go to his individual
I sent him
website.
a request.
Announcements of announcements.
Yeah.
BBFB is going to get something in August.
An announcement of announcement.
I mean, sometimes
coming in August. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, Dragon Ball is going to be doing their own show.
Right now, and then you
I figured that was going to be the case too. You know,
COVID situation.
Yeah,
that
Hiroki wasn't here, so
thrown out.
I kind of figured.
Well, the teams they had their own separate plans moving. We tried to converge as many as we could, but they had this cool, spectacular show coming up. So I hope you guys will check it out.
We're about to make mistakes here.
August. It is August now, so this month, guys.
All right,
it's coming. There's a lot of guys that were asking for stuff on Twitter, but just hang in there a little bit longer.
All right.
I know it hurts.
Zen, you're still there, right?
I am here.
All right. Is this my dude Dingo?
It's coming.
Nah, man. There ain't no mistakes here. Just happy little coincidences. You know
happy little coincidences. That's what
yes.
this is.
Happy little coincidence. So, for those who don't know, Dingo is also part of our crew too. One of the best Slayer players in Guilty Gear, and also just a really strong player. Yeah, but you were strong, dude. You had some good.
Dude, I'm going through that phase where it's been like the band, everyone's disbanded, and it's like an Avengers Endgame where they got to get the whole crew back together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, this is the anime time skip arc, man.
This is JSP
we gotta meet up.
Except I'm Thanos, just chilling on my own planet, just doing my thing.
Dude, that's all of us right now.
Oh lord,
that's all of us right now. But yeah, really not much as far as major announcements. They announced Setsuka for Soul Calibur 6, and that there's going to be a balance update as well with her that's coming on Monday. And then Tekken just announced that their Season 4 pass is going to be coming in fall. Although they were trying to do it sooner, but obviously everything that's going on right now, they had to push it back. So that's what's led to all that. So now Arc Systems is about ready to make their announcement here soon too.
Series coming out, so definitely
we're gonna see the new Strive character.
If you're Wi-Fi
probably,
that's what they're teasing. And
GC
Yoshi kind of hit it on had an interesting take. He said Setsuka, Umbrella character.
Your title, man.
Samurai Showdown, Shoda Umbrella character. So maybe Anji.
He took the final spot.
I feel like when they were telling us that all the FGC heads were getting together to discuss things, that's the only thing they talked about together. It was like, hey, you got an Umbrella character? Yeah, me too.
This is how I kind of knew you. I'm like,
wouldn't it be cool if we just dropped them all at the same time? Yeah.
Yeah, could be. Umbrellas. Makes sense. Yeah. Umbrella crew, all the way.
Oh, they also showed that they're gonna show the connection status on Tekken now, so you can see who's playing on Wi-Fi.
Oh god.
And they announced that 50%, like their research was showing that 50% of their player base were Wi-Fi.
So Blaze Blue and
nothing about it. Wow. Wow. Way to go, Namco.
So, alright, so Arc Revo Japan online series, and they said Arc Revo North America online series. It's going to feature, it's going to feature BB Tag, Grand Blue, Guilty Gear,
so they should be good.
Central Fiction, and Under Night.
So this is like a bigger Arc Revo than the one they were planning.
Yes, much bigger. All with terrible netcode connections.
And now in America, America's just
okay, so Arc Revo America is only BB Tag and Grand Blue.
Supported
the fuck?
Yeah, so Arc Revo America is only going to have BB Tag and Grand Blue. Japan is going to have everything else.
Cool. So
what kind of bullshit?
I know.
Wow.
Very tragic stuff for
bro.
Wow.
I play it, but it came out.
I'm so confused. All right.
So never
leave it to Arc.
But the people that have been sticking with it.
Hold on, I got some bans that are going to happen here because of bots coming in here. Hold on.
We can see.
Roll.
Next slide.
Got some bots.
Oh, that's awesome. Just a fan art of all the different games. Damn.
That's pretty tight.
Sick, yeah.
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah, the devs are all hyped too. I'm Team Blue. I'm definitely on
Those
Team
are cool
Blue.
artworks. I like them.
I'm Team Blue. They got Persona though. Unfortunately, this is BB Tag. Man, I got hyped for it. I was like, come on, let's see some Persona, but that's BB Tag representation right there. Yeah.
So you said it's on the homepage and
you
go
guys
check
can
it out?
download it, make a wallpaper, whatever. That's beautiful, man.
That is kind of cool.
That's my girl in the back.
That's gonna be such a
The
pull-up.
sword.
Revel Online.
I did.
Yo, Lee, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? I just saw you in there.
For the details.
Just they just went over like some Q&A stuff and everything, and then just doing a couple announcements here and there. They just announced Setsuka for Soul Calibur 6. It's going to come Monday. Tekken announced that they're going to have a Season 4 pass. It's going to be available in the fall. And now Arc Systems is going through all their announcements with Arc Revo Online and stuff like that.
Next spring there'll be a showdown. So that's something if you win, you got something to look forward to in the future there.
All right, here we go, guys.
Strive.
Here we go. Strive announcement.
New info.
Good time.
Good time.
New info for Strive. Everyone be ready for Elfelt.
I swear to God, dude.
So here we go.
Oh, all right.
Already joking, so I'm ready. Is that cool? Uh-oh. Alright.
Leo. Alright.
That's fine, I guess.
That's okay.
I mean...
I like the haircut.
Yeah, he cleaned himself up.
He cleaned himself up, but...
This character is definitely still gonna be bullshit. You can already tell.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, uh-huh.
They gave him a command grab? Oh, God.
Why not? That was a natural progression of things, too.
Natural progression.
Natural progression.
He still got the 50. Oh my God. I don't like this.
He got the 50. He got the 75. He got the 25.
Why did they give him a command grab out of that?
Oh, another character. All right.
All right. I'm a little bit behind you. I'm a little bit behind you guys. I'm a little bit behind you guys. So don't tell me yet.
Okay.
I'm a little behind you.
Oh.
Almost spit up my alcohol.
I wish I was drinking alcohol.
Oh, they're finally showing him off.
The meme is real.
The meme is real.
Nago Ryuki is his name, huh?
What
Yo,
was
he
that?
looks dope. He's big as hell. He is a big dude.
That's a big boy.
Big boy.
What? Oh my God.
Fucking Sam Show character.
Jesus.
Definitely a Sam Show character.
That's very much Harumaru.
Hey. I'm gonna be a
Arxis is like, I'm tired of you guys making fun of this.
Wow. I love the mask.
Like, we forgot to put him in, huh?
You're right.
PS4 and PS5, yep.
Nagoriyuki.
Nagoriyuki is his name. Next character, early October. Okay.
Alright. Alright.
Alright.
Right.
I like him. It's cool.
Nice. Two
It's
characters.
Gorilla season, baby. It's Gorilla season.
I could have.
Two characters.
I would have
Leo
been okay
Whitefang
with
my boy.
no Leo
I saw
though,
everyone on Twitter
but
like, please
I
no Leo,
get
please
it.
no Leo. He's back, baby.
He's so dumb in this game.
And then this is the
Why did they
mysterious
give
name. We got the name
him?
reveal as well.
New character, right?
Yeah.
Why did they give him a
Nagoriyuki.
command
They
grab out of
showed
that?
him off the very
He has a
very first
restand still.
trailer of Guilty Gear, and then there's been no new information since then. So finally, we got him. We got some playable.
I'm already.
footage. It looks like we
Gosh.
got two different modes or something too.
Nagaruki looked tight though.
Nagoriyuki.
Yeah.
Nagaryuki, he looked tight. He looks dope. He's big as hell though, man.
I did not think that. I thought he was gonna be like a regular sized character.
Dude, he was
How did they pick Leo?
very
I thought Leo's
large
gonna
boy.
be like 3 years down the line. They put him out right on the start.
Maybe they
Cats,
saw
I'm
your
both
saving
angry and aroused.
Listen to me. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh god.
Angry on the left side or aroused on the right
side.
side?
Designs are they look a little bit older.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a weird feeling.
Nice touch there.
I feel quite
Down there they announced PlayStation 5, so I
Alright.
don't know any details on
Alright.
that, but this is
I like it.
confirmed on PS5. The game looks so
Alright, yeah,
beautiful,
so-
it'll look even better on PS5.
And we kind of figured that, right?
There's
That there was going to be some
release
type
too.
of PS5 announcement with
down
this
there, so.
because of the time frame that was going to be originally
Hurry
released.
up and release, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Natural, right?
Yeah.
So next
spring.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this fall, but they announced they're pushing it back until next
Yeah,
spring.
it
But
makes
our
sense,
system
especially
works
with everything
spring, so
that's
maybe
going
really
on.
is spring. It's not Tekken spring.
Cats, this is a
What,
confusing
winter, something
morning.
like that?
I'm going to need a moment.
They said the next announcement is going to be
Understandable.
in August too, right? So
God, I got to deal with
or
Leo
October,
again.
Sorry, October.
it.
They said new information, but not just that.
Hey,
This-
man,
I
it's
think the one in
okay.
October is going to be even
You're gonna have
bigger.
to deal
So
with
they said
Elfeld
there's going to be a
soon,
lot
too.
more stuff in there, so look forward to that.
Yeah, I know that's coming eventually too.
Cool. Dude, I as soon as it's over, I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going to rewatch that trailer like 20 times. Got to break it down.
That's right.
I wanna see everyone.
Giuna was a big
I wanna see
Leo
everybody
main.
on Twitter. But I
He's
think
a
he's going to
wonderful
try.
character.
So are we gonna have like
Wow.
Giuna's
He
gonna
just
put
asked
out
me,
a
who's the-
Who's the hardest one to work with?
how
the other
to
publishers.
play Leo in 10 minutes again part 2?
Hope
He
so.
said if it just popped out, it would have been so entertaining. He was trying to trick him, but it didn't work.
逆がいいじゃないですか一番
Yes is proposing who's like
Who's
the
the
easiest.
easiest to work with partner?
That's
Or-
another difficult question for Japanese people. That
Yeah. Harada's too westernized, you know? He spent too much time overseas.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Leo has a command
So that's what
grab
we
out
have
of
planned
his
at the moment, right?
stance stuff now.
But yeah, this is just the first time. You know, it was kind of last minute planning too, right? So it's amazing that it came together and everything. Guys, if you like it, please let them know online. We want to see more. We can get more topics, different discussions for the next time.
Be cool to do it again.
Yeah,
You
so
can see more of Giuna and myself too.
well, there
if
we
that
go.
happens.
That's the first
Start
FGC
special
roundtable.
skills for Japan, right?
I do
There
want
we
to keep
go.
you guys
So
around a
Fumino
little
is
bit
signing
too to kind of
off.
give
So
your
this is
thoughts
gonna
on
be
like
the
what you
end
thought,
of
how
the
this
first one.
first
I had a
one
great
went.
time with a lot of cool
everything.
reveals
Although
and announcements.
Jeremy,
with
how
a nice
much
behind-the-scenes talk.
how much
Yeah,
time
you
were
never
you
get
able
to see
to
the
see
insight
this?
from all these different people in the same room.
Like half of the stuff on Twitter.
Just
on
on Twitter.
talking to each other.
Yeah, and then I saw the meme where it was like the people sitting at the business table, and like you have like Bandai Namco and Arc System Works, and then Arika at the end of the table, and Arika's like netcode, and you throw them out the window. So I figured no one was talking about netcode, so I wanted to see if they were going to actually talk about improving netcode, but apparently not. So.
Yeah,
is Jeremy a little loud? All right, I'll put it
Oh,
on.
my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. It's something I got to adjust on my end.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, only Arika really talked about it. They said their new update for Flexel is gonna really push the rollback stuff, and like Harada touched on it. Like they're gonna tweak the online for Tekken and try to fix that a little bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, for a large part, nobody was touching that subject.
Yeah, it didn't really even get featured in the Q&A. Now with that said, they did Q&A for like 40 minutes and was only able to get to 4 questions because of like all the people they had involved with that, right? So they weren't really able to get to a lot of it because of that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you should
so yeah, but Arika was like what Zim was saying. Arika was open about the fact that they were doing beta tests for their new online structure that they're trying.
But
and Harada, he did go into depth as far as like what they were trying to do.
He's probably sleeping, right? He's mastered sleeping. He's not getting caught.
Sunglasses are great. Like nobody can tell where you're looking during a meeting and stuff.
He posted
yeah
not too long ago that like he was trying to speak in English but it didn't make any sense, and then someone was like, hey, can you clarify? And he was like, why don't you understand? He kind of like made fun of the guy.
Oh, right, yeah, I remember that tweet. But no, Harada basically said like,
thank you.
He actually said that Tekken 7's netcode actually is rollback netcode that they implemented.
So the new
but
DLC character,
the variable frame that they chose for like how far it rolls back is 3 frames. So they've actually increased for the fall update. They've actually been testing and messing with the rollback being 6 frames instead of 3 frames, and they said that that's been given better results for
See what
them.
he's got to say.
Oh, they said King of Fighters finally. Yeah. So, look forward to King of Fighters details
no
in
KOF
the
news,
future, guys. They apologized for not having it ready for today.
And no KOF. They touched on it. They said they're working on it. They said they're gonna have an announcement for it really soon, though.
Next up, Matsumoto-san from Capcom.
But COVID kind of threw everything off, so
yeah.
Thank you all for
That's kind of been the whole
Street Fighter
deal.
5 will continue.
All right, yeah. So they're basically wrapping everything up here now. I don't think we're gonna get any other announcements here.
It'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you for
so
holding.
I'll go ahead and mute them down, and we can kind of like discuss everything here. So, yeah, I was kind of talking about it a little bit too, like because the Nishitani from Eureka said that they've basically overhauled. I shouldn't say overhauled, but they've definitely changed up Fexel quite a bit, and there is like a beta version that's going on right now that you can try out and everything before they, release it and everything. The other news too, Capcom is actually doing a 2-week free-to-play trial with SF5 that you're going to have access to the game, like the entire game basically, and entire roster, everything for that 2-week period, and basically get people, try to use that strategy to be like a way to get some new players into the game. So that was kind of a neat little thing they announced too and stuff. But all in all, that's the first roundtable basically. Pretty unique concept. I think, and Zen, I'll let you share your opinion on it too. I think this was a very good starting point. If this was something that was going to be done on a more regular basis, which is something they hit on. That is something that if it's received well, that they're going to do more of. If that's the case, pretty good groundwork overall, I would say.
Yeah, so if you look on Twitter, if you look in the main Twitch chat as well, like you're gonna see a lot of hate for this presentation.
That's always going to come natural.
It's always like you're gonna see a lot of hate, you're gonna see a lot of memes, you're gonna be like, what the fuck, this is wasting my time. But this was very much like a PAX style panel presentation. They did a small Q&A in the beginning. They picked a couple of questions from Twitter and stuff like that. And it was very generic questions, but also a little fascinating to see like their process and their thought process for a couple of things. But they didn't get into like the main topics like net play like we kind of wanted them to. But it's a cool first program. Like if they did this on like a monthly basis and just kept in touch with the community and answered more questions and keep like interacting this way, I think it could be a really cool thing going forward. But I definitely think they should have managed people's expectations, because people came in thinking, oh, it's going to be announcement after announcement after announcement, and they got 50 minutes of just dialogue, and nobody likes dialogue. So
right, because we've seen those presentations before. Like another one that kind of came to mind as far as that goes, everything too, like when Sony did like their hardware breakdown of the system and everything, right? Like a lot of the terminology and discussion for like the casual viewer, it would go completely over their head and bore them in that regard.
Most people are not interested in this type of thing because they just want announcements, they want characters, they want trailers, they want gameplay. But for anybody that's interested in sort of the internal side of things, like the development side of things, these are actually kind of pretty interesting discussions to have. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I said like I think it's a good starting point for what they did with this. I came into this thing, and Jeremy, I'll get your thoughts on it too and everything, but like I came into this thing with like the least amount of expectations as possible, because quite frankly, I didn't know what to expect with this. I knew there was going to be some announcements that were going to be done, but that was really it. But like as far as like the developer talk and everything, and we mentioned it kind of like during like our pre-show, I guess, in a sense, right? Like I did not anticipate them getting into online very heavy. Like I thought that I would have been surprised if they even touched on it the way they did, even with like the breakdown presentations and stuff. But as far as everything else goes, I like kind of what they did with it. I like the fact that they did take some questions from social media and address them. Some of the questions I think there could have been some other questions that could have replaced some of the ones that they addressed. But again, it's a first time. They probably had a list of things. They didn't, they only had really, in a sense, 45 to 50 minutes of Q&A time to address those questions on social media. Just when you have this many developers on this, it's going to be hard to be able to address every question. So the fact they got 4 questions in during that time, honestly, is pretty good considering you gave, 6 to 8 minutes for each person to give their own response in that regard. So, yeah, again, pretty solid starting point as far as that goes. Curious to see what they go with it from here. And, how many times are they going to bring in, the same publishers? And who knows? Maybe there's going to be some other publishers that comes through as well. What if they do a crossover, not just Japanese developers, but they bring in U.S. developers too? What if NetherRealm's involved with this, type of roundtable discussion as well? So it's a good starting point. I'm curious to see how it kind of evolves from here. Now, Jeremy, I know you said you only caught like a little bit of it, but like from the sample size that you saw, what would you like to see more of if they continue doing these type of roundtable discussions?
I want to see more, I guess, like potential moving forward in terms of responding to community feedback. I know it seems like they're trying their best to make sure people know that they're being heard, especially by addressing the online issues, at least in some form. Maybe not in the way that people want, but like in some kind of capacity, which is better than what we were getting, at least in some way. So I think that's good. It's hard not to want them to address the issue right here and now, because so many of these games that people love, we just want to play online right now because there's no other option. Like there's literally no other way to play with people right now. So I would love to see Tekken 7 get this update where like it becomes way more playable online. Or I know that Gear Strive is getting it, so that's like a little bit further down the line. And then Fex was increasing. They're fixing their online play, which is great because I have that game and haven't had a lot of time to sink into it. But like if the online was really good, I could imagine like sinking lots of hours into that game. So I hope to see more, I guess, reform in that direction of just making sure that, hey, like we're coming out with these new games, we got this new content coming for you guys, but also we're gonna work on this other aspect of it because we know this is important to you guys, and we're gonna make sure it's there. I'm kind of saddened by the Street Fighter V news in a sense because I know they're trying to get more people to play the game, but it's also like you're kind of still missing the point because I feel like people know about Street Fighter V's existence. No one's like, oh, we don't know this game is here. We don't know this game is available. I feel like it's like they try it, people play it, they try it online, they play a couple matches, and they're like, yeah, this is trash, and they just stop playing. Not because the game's bad, but because like just online is not great.
Online is not functional. I mean, on PS4 at least. Now, I will say, like I've been actually playing Street Fighter V on PC and everything, and it is more functional on PC, but it's it's still not the greatest in the world though.
And it's crossplay, so you get the troglodytes in there too on the Wi-Fi, and it's like it's bad. So you gotta get a good mix. You gotta make sure it just works. I guess the Wi-Fi people we can't really do much about, but you know what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah. Which that was, I knew there was a number of players that played on Wi-Fi. I did not expect Harada to say 50% of their online player base was Wi-Fi. 50%. 50. Like, I was blown away by that, to be honest.
Oh, Jeremy, you would appreciate Flo's tweet.
Oh, yeah, Flo had the best tweet.
He just had it in all caps, 50% of you are assholes.
Like, I was blown away by that. It was crazy.
Very good.
Diamond, I'll answer your question real quick before I get to what I was going to say as well, because Dingo brought up a very good point. The only BB Tag news that came out is that it's going to be part of the Arc Revo Online North America tour. There was no like any official like new news or anything like that. It's just that BB Tags will be part of the Arc Revo North American online tournament series. There was something I was going to get into because you brought up a good point, Dingo, regarding like SF5. Because while I definitely see that other side of what you're mentioning with it, saying like, sure, it looks like Capcom's trying, but in a sense, it's just like, who does not know about Street Fighter V now? It's been out for 5-6 years. So I totally get that point. And as far as like them trying everything to bring in new players in that regard, but it's kind of interesting how how different philosophies are with that, right? And Japan, like Japanese devs have their own philosophies of what they try to do to improve their player bases and everything, which is kind of unique of why they chose this time frame, because it's super, like, it's early Saturday morning in Japan, but it's prime time here in the in the US and everything, for us and everything. So there's the ability to probably use that as well to have that North American viewing audience to show, like, to express the exact same things that you were saying about SF5 versus like, look, the problem isn't getting people to play your game because it's Street Fighter. People are going to play your game. The problems are the internal issues with how the game functions, especially with net play. And it's not like people aren't all of a sudden don't want to play fighting games anymore. People are still playing fighting games, but in order to have proper online functionality, they're using different methods. Parsec is being the new wave, you know what I mean? There's people that are going with Parsec and signing up for the cheapest cloud server possible, Paperspace or whatever, which I never even heard of that until it got tied in with Parsec and everything. And that's the way people are playing online now, is through Parsec.
Yeah,
so
because there's no alternative.
Exactly. There's no good alternative unless you're playing, games that have great online connection, like Skullgirls, Killer Instinct, Power Rangers, Battle for the Grid. Unless you're playing those games, Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, unless you're playing those games that have great online functionality, if you're wanting to try to play Grand Blue with, one of your friends that lives in even, say, Georgia or something like that, you're hopping on Parsec and everything. The best online tournament series right now that people are participating in is, honestly, it's Tong's Marvel tournaments that he's running on Parsec.
Because there's an interest in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been an interest in the game, but there was no reliable way to play it, and now they found a reliable way to play it, and now people are coming out in droves to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's funny how that works, right? Like Mortal Kombat, right? Like, there's no reason why Street Fighter V should not be as successful as Mortal Kombat 11. Like, straight up. Because they're both very well-known fighting game franchises. Everybody knows what they are. Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. And Mortal Kombat got together because in MK9, trash, right? Online play was trash. MK10, it was trash. Then they fixed it. MK11, they learned from their mistakes, and they made sure the online play was a super important asset of the whole package, so that when you play it online, you can say whatever you want about the game if you don't like Mortal Kombat, but you cannot deny it has some of the best online play of any AAA fighting game right now. Like, undeniably, it's good, and you can't take that away from them. So the MK community is probably doing great right now. Everyone's playing MK. They're like, oh, our game's fine. We can have online tournaments. Sure, yeah, whatever. Right. I'll play you from California all the way from Florida. Yeah, why not, right? And then we're sitting over here in Street Fighter V world, like, it's got rollback, but it's not good rollback. It's not like optimized. One of the reasons why I've been trying to get back into Plus R a little bit is because of GGPO Plus R, because they're trying to implement GGPO into Plus R on PC and other platforms, and I thought that's amazing. And I've been trying to follow it as much as I can because, like, I want to get my hands on it, right? So it's just stuff like that. Like, I want them to address that issue and bring it up and, like, say, hey, here's what we're doing to address this, because it's not like there's no example of it working, right? It's not like, hey, like, we're suggesting this and we think it's gonna work. It's like, no, we're suggesting this because we've seen people literally do it and it worked for them.
Yeah. Real quick, shout outs to my boy Villain Productions with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you, my good sir. By the way, shout outs to Villain, man. Did you see his tweet of the arcade cab that he built with Rev 2?
Yes, I saw that.
Dude,
it's sick.
That shit is so sweet. So I'm that was a beautiful thing there. So shout out to my boy Villain, man, doing his own thing, doing big things, and yeah, this man is he's making some waves, man. I'm happy for him and that with what he's doing and everything. But yeah, it's I mean, like I said, I went in here thinking, did not have any expectations as far as that goes, but if they continue this, and like I said, I think it's a great starting point with what they have and everything, but now let's see how it develops if they want to do this on a monthly basis. And, we have other things that's right around the corner too. Capcom is going to be doing their own showcase on August 5th. DBFZ is going to be doing their own showcase sometime in August. There's going to be Tokyo Game Show that's right around the corner too. So I'm curious to see where it goes from here. But like I said, there's while I do think it's a great starting point, there's definitely some things that I would like to see them improve on for future ones. But again, it's the first one. I think it went overall well. And then, yeah, Grand Blue is going to have their own thing with Grand Fest. That's also next week as well, which I can expect some Versus news that's going to come out of that because they did say Character Pass 2 is going to be in the fall, so we're getting close. So I'm expecting some type of announcement, especially with like the Belial trailer that they have there. But, yeah, all in all, good starting point, good foundation. Let's see what they do with it now, and let's see the improvements and taking the feedback as much as possible and everything in trying to develop this.
I think the biggest takeaway out of this was their emphasis on collaboration, which is really important.
Yes.
So like I forget which question it was in regards to, but it's the idea of communicating with one another and sharing tech. Just because they're competitors doesn't mean that they can't push each other forward.
Right.
So the fact that they even invited like Arika here to like something like this, and Arika is the one main developer that's trying out rollback over there, right? Like the experiences that Flexil will have with their beta can influence the rest of these games here, right? So long as they keep talking to each other and collaborating with each other and letting them know, hey, this rollback thing actually works, that will start to infect the other developers and start making them think about using it more and more, right? And maybe like Bandai Namco does something well on their end, hey, they can share tech with these guys and just push the whole genre as a whole forward in Japan. Because if you look at the netcode situation and take that, in the West, we haven't figured out, right? Because every game that you listed there that has rollback netcode is like a Western-made game.
Yep, Western developed.
AI. We take that seriously. But Japan is kind of in their own little bubble, right? They see it works for Japan, but it doesn't work elsewhere. But they don't really focus too hard on the worldwide audience in that regard. So for them to keep the line open with the community, like stay transparent with us, like keep taking the feedback in from us and acknowledging our concerns, as well as working together as a whole to push everybody forward and get to where they need to be. Because as you said, net play is really important in these times, as well as some other features, right? And I like that they stress the collaboration effort, because that's going to be really important going forward. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's definitely definitely the thought process is like, all right, you all acknowledge this, at least these aspects with it. Now what is going to be done moving forward in that regard when it comes to collab? And I think you bring up a very good point of Arika being part of that and everything because of the fact they're toying with that idea. So that's kind of where, like, I guess my next question, for future shows like this, obviously there's you have the capability of being able to do a Japan fighting game roundtable and making that be in Japan/USA or Japan/North America and collab in that aspect too. In going with that. So, who would be some future publishers that you would like to see involved with this, I mean, or even future developers? I brought up NetherRealm because of, while, like I said, me personally, I'm not the biggest NetherRealm fan, but what they do with having functional online and being able to bring in and maintain a casual audience to their games is night and day the best out of anyone when it comes to the developers and publishers. Like, I don't think that's even a competition. But, could maybe some of that influence be brought here to help, better those aspects for other games? I mean, would that be something they'd be willing to do? I'd like to see it, but, they'd have to be willing to take that in that regard,
I mean, if it comes to like a discussion around netcode, like the two you would want in that table would be NetherRealm as well as Iron Galaxy for KI. Like those are the two that you would want in that discussion.
Who is the main? Is it Mystic Code? That is also another one that does a lot of like rollback stuff.
Code Mystics does a lot of the rollback. Does a lot of the rollback stuff for the KOF games, the older ones that have been being put out on Steam and whatnot. So they did the rollback for Garu. They did the rollback for one of the other later KOF games that they did. I think the Sam Show collection as well. So yeah, maybe have them come up here. I would like to see French Bread have a table.
That was the next one I was going to bring up. French Bread would be a good one to have in there too.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Yeah, so that's basically it. That's that first fighting game roundtable. Just quick recap for those who may have missed it. The devs did a lot of Q&A in the first part of it, about 45 minutes. We're able to only get like 4 questions because of how many people they had there. Not really a lot of heavy-hitting topics they hit. It was a more general question aspect of it, but still kind of intriguing with some points that they had. Like Zen mentioned, the biggest one being the fact that they want to collaborate with each other more to try to, make their product better. Then it went to the announcements. The 3 really big announcements were that Setsuka is coming to Soul Calibur 6. She will be dropping on Monday, as well as a balance change update. Tekken announced that there is a Season 4 coming, but it's not going to be hitting till later in the fall. They were trying to get it out earlier, but because of COVID, it ended up having to be pushed back. And Guilty Gear announcing not 1, but 2 new characters in Strive, or 2 revealed characters. Leo Whitefang being the first one. And they showed off the new character finally, Naga Ryuki, who had a very interesting playstyle and is quite the large person, to say the least. Yeah, really big dude. So that's kind of it. Zen, Dingo, you guys. I'll start with you first. Anything else you want to say before we wrap things up here?
For drinking and then just barging in here.
Yeah,
I was like,
dude, you're welcome to these, man. Anytime you want to hop on here, you're welcome, dude. You know that.
Of course. I was on it was my day off today. I called out from work, and then I'm like just sitting here chilling. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm on Twitch and I see you guys. I'm like, wait, is that Robin there? Like, I have to be here.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you stopping through the stream for a little bit too.
Yeah, of course, man. So. I miss you guys. I hope we can all get back together soon.
Oh, dude, who are you telling, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, who are you telling? I know I was talking with Rob about it too. It's like I want to try to put something together with like the JSB crew doing like a JSB plays or stuff like that. And it doesn't have to be fighting games or anything like that. It could be just like a big party game or stuff like that we can all just, chill and
Jackbox? Jackbox, dude. Oh my god.
Dude, you know what? I've never done any of the Jackbox games. I would be
Oh
down
my.
to do that.
Ryan. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. It's gonna be. It's gonna be. You might not be able to stream it, but it'll be fun. So.
I don't know,
Actually,
man.
you probably have to stream it.
I was gonna say, I've seen some of the shit Shrimpy streams. I think I'll be okay. So
yeah, it'll be fun. That'll be good.
I'd be down. I would 100% be down with that. So.
On Spotify, Apple, Google, most places really. It goes up every Friday, except for today we had to call it audible. Just busy COVID life things came up, so no podcast this week. But stay tuned next week for some fun shenanigans. Yeah, that's about it. You can follow JSB actually on Twitter, Jack Savage Base. We do giveaways pretty often now. We've been doing a lot. And I think we got another one loaded up for next week, so stay tuned for that. I'm just like giving away a ton of shit, so
yeah, and and I mean, these are actually really, really good giveaways that you guys do. Like you guys actually, if I remember correctly, the last one you guys did you guys do a big giveaway with the East series?
Oh, last giveaway was insane. So as part of July, Drew dubs it Julys, like JULYS for the East series. So we gave away 2 complete collections of the East games on Steam. So that is literally 9 games for the collection. So we gave away 18 games.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 people won a full set of East games, and we have other plans for later this year for some other series that we may do full full giveaways for as well. So it's a lot of fun stuff going on over there. So definitely check us out.
Yeah, and yeah, the podcast is great, and obviously, if you want to get your chance to win some free games and free quality games too, like they mentioned, Rob mentioned giving away the Yeast series and everything. I think they've also given away a copy of Yakuza as well.
Yeah, we've done Yakuza, we've done like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, Spyro trilogy.
So quality stuff.
There's really good stuff out there, man.
Yeah. So definitely be on the lookout for that as well. Villain, we miss you too, my man. We miss you as well, man.
I miss you, buddy.
We need to get through this and find a way to get everyone back together and everything. We're gonna find a way to have JSB New Year's happen somehow, some way. Damn it! Especially since I found the new JSB New Year's Eve game to play.
We're playing Fight Crab.
We are playing some damn Fight Crab,
bro. It's gonna be fucking great.
That shit was wild.
We're gonna play Fight Crab, and I have something on the way. Well, I'll have something in August on the way, and I will set it up, and it's going to be wild. JSB New Year's is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
I will leave it at that.
And then I guess it's okay to kind of mention this, Zen. You and I have been kind of trying to iron out some details with Grand Blue that we're trying to put together with Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. So stay tuned to that. Hopefully we'll have that announced in a couple weeks here, but we're working on something with that. So be on the lookout for what's coming up there. So that's it though, guys. Appreciate you all coming through. Appreciate you all watching. I'll be uploading this episode to my YouTube channel probably Sunday. I have a couple other videos I got to upload to the channel first, but expect it then. As far as the overall showcase of this, I might try to get it up sooner though. But it definitely will be up by Sunday at the latest. And we'll wrap it up here. I will return to streaming tomorrow. I'm probably going to be hopping back into either Ghost of Tsushima or Yakuza Kiwami 2 sometime tomorrow. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter, RCB_FGC. That's where I post all my updates, as far as, you know, when I do stream and things along those lines. By the way, Devin, I saw you in there earlier, man. Hopefully you're doing as well. And thanks for stopping by. So yeah, with all that said, guys, for Dingo and for Zenosuke, I am RCB. Check y'all next time. Thanks again for watching.